blind pill. It doesn't hurt me in my fifis. I don't think it's gross. I don't think he is a predator. I think that what he is advocating for is messed up, and I don't think it tracks. I don't think that, for instance, blind women are automatically virtuous or that they don't have mattress acting pasts.
Right.
Avery.
Okay. I would agree with most of what you just said. However, I feel like you guys are missing. You're missing the plot. He is not saying that you should do this. He has
He is saying
created
it.
theoretically a proposition that is intended to trigger a feminist.
He is
Male or
saying that
female.
you should do it.
The proposition.
You're telling other people that they're in their emotions too, while claiming that the problem is that we're not empathizing with his hurt feelings.
I never said any of the words you just said.
Most
How did you get
Literally what you just said.
Well, your interpretation skills are lacking. I don't know what to tell you.
No, they're not. I have very high comprehension skills. You should go back and listen to yourself in the stream. You accused everybody on the panel of being emotional, and then you said, "I don't know why you guys can't see that he's been hurt many times."
He didn't accuse everybody. He said some. It wasn't everybody. That's your listening comprehension.
Okay, you guys. So whatever you guys means are being emotional, while he said that the problem was that we weren't able to empathize with the fact that he'd been hurt many times, and that's obviously where his perspective is coming from.
Denizen, I invite lots of people over from my parish for steaks. Let's say like 2 people per week. I'll invite them over for some ribeyes, obviously not during a fast, but when we are in fellowship together, almost every man that's here, and we're talking about women, the single ones, they sound like Marte. They don't want to get into a relationship with a feminist. There's covert feminists. They're scared. They have been destroyed. Their lives have been turned upside down. They are suffering. They have a bunch of kids that they no longer have control over. You name it, man. The worst terror stories you can think of, they're everywhere. I myself have many things I could talk to you about, but the point I'm trying to say is I feel like you don't know how men talk about women. And I am Orthodox. I've been Orthodox. I'm inviting Orthodox men over to my house all the time. And we all sound like that about our future prospects for women. Am I arguing that you should go date a blind person because they are more virtuous? No. I logged in.
Marte is.
Well, he's created a proposition to trigger people saying, "Hi, I got another feminist right here. You're a feminist because that offends you." Kind of like.
He didn't mention that at all during the stream, and I just want to let you know that your feelings about my recognition of how men talk about women are incorrect.
You seem mighty defensive, brother. Like.
I mean, if you could stop making Marte's argument about my feelings and my inability to comprehend things and my inability to empathize and my lack of recognition of how men talk about women, then perhaps I wouldn't have to constantly point out how you're wrong about it.
Well, you've got the greatest.
Okay. I mean, look, like you're welcome to disagree, Moses. I don't really think that like his background with this changes the position. There's plenty of men who have the similar or worse backgrounds, right, with feminism. And I don't really like. I'm not gonna say it gave me the ick. I'm gonna attack the argument. I don't think like there's consistencies. There's no statistics that support his assertions with respect to blind women. And my concern is that perhaps it might be construed in a different way. Nobody really likes to talk about this, but like, let's say, for instance, there's a guy that watches this and he's like, oh, there's this like beautiful woman that I really like, but she's not interested in me, right? But you know what would make her interested in me is if I freaking blinded her, right? It's a very messed up kind of like logic train to follow if you're talking to people that are not mentally completely there. And I understand the message. I understand we want to expose feminists. But to that, I would say I would recommend you utilize the shut up lady. If you tell a woman to shut up and she gets all in her feelings, she is exposed as a feminist. You need not enter into some kind of like Agrippa's trilemma with the blind pill in order to demonstrate that a woman is a feminist. There are much simpler ways to do it that don't result in all of these potential outcomes that I think could be very messed up, and I would never want to encourage, right? So
because you
and I
want to
would
be nice
also
to them? Is that what your argument is?
sorry?
Average
Because you wanna
DMs.
be nice?
No, wait. Why do I have to? Why do we have to be nice to his fucking argument if his fucking argument doesn't follow? It's the other way around
not.
because
Discord.
it doesn't
don't.
follow. Perfect. Then I can go ahead and just claim it as the three presuppositions I disagree with is one, there's no reason to believe that the man is acting in good faith because there's no reason to believe that that's the case. Two, there's no reason to believe that blindness equates virtue because there's no reason to believe that that is the case. And the third one, there's no reason to believe that men cannot date blind women. In fact, they can. And the problem is the way that the thing is phrased is, why wouldn't you open the market to blind women? The market's already open, okay? These women are more virtuous. Well, we don't know that. It doesn't follow that they are more virtuous. And the third one is you're the good guy. Well, are you actually the good guy in this idea? Are you gonna be the good guy? Because I don't know if that is the case when the thing you're looking for is blindness and not virtue, for example. And whenever I bring these, it's like, oh, there's no ought. There is. Just like there is an ought in the Muslim dilemma, which is you should go to the Bible. You should go to the Bible to confirm the Quran. There is an odd claim in these that is implied is you should date women that are virtuous.
I have to use the washroom, guys. I refuse to get a streamer adult diaper, and so.
Well, Emmett, you said there's no reason to believe those things. I think there's reason to believe that. It makes perfect sense to me.
Which one?
His arguments?
Yeah, tell me which one of those three things. Reason. Yeah, tell me which one of those three things should I believe?
Well,
in accordance to the argument.
Yeah. So your argument that there's no reason to believe that a blind woman would be more virtuous, he listed out reasons why they would be.
Yeah, I can list you out reasons why they wouldn't be. The first one is they have a disability. The way that we look at the world right now, they are predated. People with disabilities are predated by feminism so that they are more likely to be feminists because they're used as tokens.
Well, I hear that assertion, but he made a counter argument to that assertion.
It's just assertions. We are making assertions. He made an assertion. I made an assertion. We're on the same level field. If there is no information that breaks out with that when it comes to some kind of data, I can say that my reason to believe that they're not more likely to be virtuous is just as valid as him pretending that they're more virtuous.
So I'd argue it's more valid.
You said that's another assertion more valid that I disagree with. But
yeah, because there's a lot more evidence to support Emmett's assertion than there is to support Marte's. Like I told you, I know blind people. They can take care of themselves. They aren't completely dependent. They don't filter the world through their significant other's eyes. They are just as greedy and susceptible to promiscuity as any other female or any other human being. Being blind doesn't limit any of those things, and it's in fact the abundance of arguments that Marte gave that convinced me that he's completely wrong, because he gave plenty of reasons and made plenty of points, and he flushed them all out entirely, and every single one of them was bullshit and made no sense in reality whatsoever.
Well, then I don't think your logic skills are very good like you claimed they were. They made sense to me.
No, I have excellent skills when it comes to logic. I've proved it academically and in my career.
Great. But Emmett's
your mom also sent me a delightful thank you note. It was scented with, I think, vanilla and lavender, I want to say. I wasn't quite sure.
If it was my mom, it would have been Obsession by Calvin Klein.
Here's the difference.
Do not donate to my adult diaper fund, please. I do not. I will never wear a streamer diaper. Stop asking me about it. I will always use the washroom.
Striper was a great band from the 80s, 90s.
Facts.
Streamer diaper. Striper, though, is way
Gentlemen,
better than streamer diaper.
I do
That's
have
crazy.
to actually work today. And like,
Oh,
Yeah,
you
me
know,
too. I just did a thing though. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Avg.
that's okay.
I sent off a thing. If you want to wait for just a little bit for that.
I mean,
You sent me a thing. I'm still
No,
waiting for it.
I sent off a thing.
Oh, Emmett, you're going live?
I'm
Where's
live.
the link?
I'm live already.
Oh, you are live. Okay. Just a second. Let me change this because I had it set up differently.
It's in the back if you want.
Let's do closing
should've known
statements.
a while.
Grumple, why don't you go first?
No, I go last.
Just
That's
make
my
it your
statement.
closing statement.
Why are you
Well,
being so
that's my-
insufferable?
That's my statement.
Frick.
Goodbye, Grumple.
We do music sometimes.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Dennison,
Yes, ma'am.
would you like to make your closing statement?
Oh, definitely don't subscribe to @Dennison-X.
Okay.
And thanks for having me as usual. Hey,
Yeah.
sorry.
Of course. Grumple, can you post your link in the back chat if you're still here? I need to provide people with your link. Denison's link is in the chat. Thank you for coming on. Hooves. Hooves. Calling hooves. Going once. Going twice.
Bye, oops.
Sold. $0. Moses. There's a deliberate reason why I am leaving you to one of the last people to kick. Does this answer? I kind of get the sense you watch Marte, you like Marte. I think he's he does have some good orthodox points. But do you understand why we think it's kind of a dumb argument yet, or is this still kind of lost on you?
So, well, the first part you said, I've never seen Marte in my life. Emmett kind of told me that he had a Byzantine symbol behind him. And then I noticed
did?
that and went, oh my God, he is Orthodox. I didn't even realize he was Orthodox. I
Yeah.
watched all of this and I've seen you guys all for the first time today. I am the guy under a rock. I apologize. I mean, no disrespect by that. I liked everything. It was all entertaining. Absolutely. I would watch you guys again, even Emmett. I enjoyed our interactions.
I'm not.
But my last, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to say something real quick. I don't mean any disrespect to you at all, and I don't. And I can be very aggressive as a debater. So if you felt any kind of, if you felt that I was over the line with you, I didn't mean it. It's just I am very aggressive as a debater. So, just letting you know.
I hoped you did mean it. If you meant that, I would have liked you even more.
No, what I mean is I didn't mean to. I don't mean to hurt. I do mean to be very aggressive as a debater, but I don't mean to disrespect you as a person.
Yeah, I understand. I appreciate that sentiment. But I did like. I liked what I watched today. I just was trying to point out that I completely understood at least the place that guy with Marte was coming from. And it was surprising to me how opposed staunchly to that entire paradigm you guys all were. And it was similar to me watching like those true Orthodox try to talk to canonical Orthodox people. They're just, everyone's talking past each other. One is denying the entire premise and reality and basis of everything they're saying. They're not even acknowledging their church as a church. And the other side's doing the same thing. They can't even have a discussion because they're just playing these word games and definitional games that I don't grant that. I don't grant you're an Orthodox Christian. I don't grant you are an Orthodox. And that's what it sounded like. It was like, how do you not see that, at least from his point of view? He was creating a feminist dilemma, basically. I thought it was hilarious. And then you guys said it's not hilarious. And I was like, well, it is to me. So how is it not hilarious? Anyways.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you had a good time. Like I said, same with Emmett. I actually don't have any bad faith towards you. I really appreciate your support of the channel. I hope that we can represent Orthodoxy in a way that's great, but that's not my main point of my channel. I don't parade the fact that I'm Orthodox. I don't do apologetics debates for reasons that you probably are already aware of. I'm a catechumen and a woman. And I, really, truly, I think these types of debates and dialogue are really what makes us stronger. So I don't like echo chambers. So I do appreciate providing a dissenting viewpoint, and I hope you come back.
Yeah.
Do you have a channel that I can chill in the chat?
Me? No, I'm a private guy. I'll watch you guys definitely again. Cheers.
Thank you, Moses, for coming on. Oh, is that your saint name, by the way?
It is, yeah.
Cool. Same as Marte. Marte's saint name is also Moses the Black. Oh, very cool.
Marte. Oh, well, every black guy I know in Orthodoxy his name is
It's
Moses.
Moses the Black.
Yeah,
my patron saint is Helen. So.
Well, you're soon to be. And good
soon
luck.
to be, yes.
Uh,
Yes, many years to you. And Emmet, you're baptized, right?
I haven't been baptized yet.
No. Oh,
No.
goodness. Well, many years to your coming baptismal regenerations. I wish you the best.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Axios and blessed fast of the apostles to you, sir. All right. Catch you next time. Mel, I'm sure you have some grievances. Please.
Oh, I did post in the side chat that it's actually about wanting to set up a debate.
About what?
The necessity of dividing labor between the sexes in 2016. I'm obviously taking the position that I don't want to do that, or I don't think we need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that Tyler guy, I don't know how, I don't know how to contact him. If I just have a way to contact you, or if you can contact me through email or Discord, those are the two best options for me.
For sure.
Set it up whenever it's convenient for you.
I'm gonna post it. It's the same as my ex, but I will post it in the chat here.
Now, you prefer to share sources, right?
Yeah, in advance. Usually about at least 3 days in advance, preferably a week.
Okay, good to know. That's lovely, and that's something I tried to push before it was cool. So
yeah, I do moderate.
Emmet's good for that too, and I appreciate that about you, Emmet. Just to be clear, I know I give you flack and stuff. It's just going into primary sources about a topic that is really about statistics.
The debate was about the statistics. I told you about the debate. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna go into it. You didn't accept it. We can move on. She has to go to work. Okay.
It's just tedious to do an internal critique.
She has to go to work.
Rather do.
Okay, Mel, would you like to promote your channel?
Not right now. It's embarrassing. Don't go look at it.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
On the next one.
But I will try to stream that debate if we do it, by the way. That is kind of what I'm trying to get back into. So.
Fine with me. Absolutely.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for having me on, Daria.
I'd post your link, but we are reading to you. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah. The big problem that I have with this, just to be completely honest, and I don't think I've been emotional about it, except for the fact that I really don't like the argument, is just the fact that I really don't like the argument. It is, I don't think it's an effective rhetorical tool. I think it has been shown in a lot of senses that it seems completely taken back, and the fact that it's a fallacy machine in my view makes it a bad argument. It's just a bad idea in its face. So thank you for having me on. I'll be streaming for a little while, and I hope you have an excellent night and a good day in work tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. I think I'm gonna do something on my own for the moment. First off, thank you everybody who's here. I don't know how many people are here, but whoever is, thank you. Let me see what's going on. Should I just go to Discord instead? Maybe I should just go to Discord instead. I mean, this is not the place. I just need to open my own chat. I didn't think anybody was going to be here because everybody was over there still. But hey, thank you all for joining me. 10 people watching. You guys are cool. I need to have both of them open, to be fair. Because everybody was over there. We go. So, first off, thank you to AVG or Daria for joining me. K2, keep on trucking. Good to see you. Dr. Functional. Cat, good to see you. AR, we not man. You're in candid camera. I'm just not on camera. That's about it. I'm out of 30,000 people. How does it feel taking the prop feminist stance? It's not a feminist stance. I have been personally, I have been affected by feminism. So no. Thank you very much for the raid, Daria. Once again, thank you for being here, and thank you very much for the raid. Well, it's bigger now. That's why. What the hell's going on? Why is it not working? My chat's not... Okay, it's not gonna open. I cannot show it. Moses, if you wanna come up, so it's just the two of us, we can talk. That would be really cool. Yeah. Because I don't think... I understand where you're coming from, but I can do the same thing, right? I have been affected directly by it. And I really don't think that the argument is good. And that's my only problem with it. I don't care about any of the other stuff. What? Why do you do that? But yes, my camera quality is not the best. About the subjectivity of predatory and virtue, that was the point. That there's no reason in the argument in and of itself as presented is, if the question that is supposed to be the dilemma is why well, it's not even should. Is there a problem with men opening up the dating market to blind people so that they can... Is there a problem with men opening the market to blind virtuous people? And from there, he goes to the... When he makes the explanation, he's saying, while opening the market, it's gonna be these virtuous men. But there is no... If you're opening in the general stance, there's no reason to believe that it's gonna be a virtuous man. And then the other two problems that I have is the virtues, blindness equals virtue, which I don't think is true. And then, to be fair, the one thing that I care for, the one thing that I really, truly care for is to have the best arguments possible. Because I don't want to, and I don't think it's necessary or good to have bad arguments. Okay? It's not a good thing to have bad arguments when it comes to trying to defeat feminism. I'm Melvin going to Tel Aviv. I don't think anybody's going to Tel Aviv. Virtue is subjective. You believe it's rooted in universal human nature or cosmic truth, but subjective, you believe, is defined by individual societies, cultures, or personal feelings. There's obviously definitions of virtue, but we're talking about an orthodox person. So there is a true stance when it comes to virtue. Hey, Moses.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Your camera is also lesser quality. I don't know why. It's kind of weird.
Interesting. Can you hear me better than the last time?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, I realized the last time I had the settings wrong, so probably sounded like I was a mile away.
Mhm.
I just was wondering if you wanted to finish the interaction. I noticed that it was ended early. I noticed that you had something to say. I just thought
Well,
maybe I'd pop in.
I just want to say this. Because I understand your position. It's like, well, we're gonna use this argument, and it's gonna go to some dumb people, and they're gonna get triggered, and it's gonna be fine if you're using it as just a rhetorical tool, right? Especially if you're talking about dumb feminists, fine. But then let's say that you have a person that actually knows his way through logic, and he just goes on and refutes the argument in its face. The problem is gonna be like people are gonna be less likely to follow that kind of argumentation, or I would be a lot less likely to follow it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, assuming that it is illogical, of course. Yeah. I
Well,
mean, I hear a lot of people say that very thing about tag, or a lot of the arguments that Jay Dyer uses as
yeah,
well. Say
I
word salad, things like that.
yeah, I
you
love
know?
tag. It's my it's I've been I have things. Thank God for Jay Dyer that introduced me to tag, that introduced me to the church, because at the end of the day, the way that I look at it is I came to the realization of the church through logical argumentation, which is not necessarily the best. There are mysteries and things that are completely faith based, right? And you're going to have to lower yourself and your intellect to be part of the church. But it's the thanks to those kind of arguments that are that I couldn't defeat, that there's no way around them, in a sense, that I was able to understand why is the Orthodox Church right. And if I come to an argument that is on its face ridiculous, or I see it on its face ridiculous, I would be less likely to engage with it in that way.
And I hear that. However, your point on trying to understand it logically isn't a good way to understand orthodoxy. I think I can hear the humility of why you're saying that. However, even Jay Dyer would say, if you were to talk to him personally, would
Mhm.
tell you that if you're not constantly verifying the knowledge that you think you know against other worldviews that you disagree with, then you don't really trust or have faith in what you think you have faith in. So if you were to
True.
believe in orthodoxy and then you hear a proposition from some Protestant,
Mhm.
if you don't go with obviously the kind of logical mind you have and test your knowledge against that proposition, because if you have real faith, then you'll say, well, the truth will come out on top,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean, the
No,
truth will win out in the end. And
I'm not saying that. For example, there's an argument I don't understand, and that I know it's true, but I just don't understand it. Which is and I heard Jay Dyer make this argument. I just don't get it. When he was talking about the Eucharist, and he's talking about the Eucharist partaking with the energies, and
Mhm.
I've tried to, like, I understand in the grand sense what it means, but I don't understand the argument itself. And I'm willing
The
to
argument
say
of
how
partaking,
exactly is
participating in the energies.
because it's not the same way that the Catholics view it. So the Catholics view that is like a transfiguration, or so
Yeah.
the way that they look at it is it's like God is partaking within the energies in the Eucharist, and then you're partaking through the energies of God, which makes sense to me in the grand schema, but I cannot make the argument in a propositional way, for example. I just cannot.
I see. Yeah, that's a difficult one. First, it's like trying to, like you and I were disagreeing earlier on the entire. Marte was giving there was a bunch of presuppositions in his assertions that
Mhm.
you were not allowing to move forward because you disagreed with him. There's a lot of that going on when you're trying to propose the essence energy distinction to someone outside the church who hasn't looked into it. A lot
No.
of
Mhm.
Protestant bias in the background. So if you're wondering how to make it into a propositional argument, is that what you were saying?
yeah, I understand the argument I understand the differences between the essence energy. I understand how you come to the conclusion of the essence energy distinction. I understand that you can partake with the with the energies with the Eucharist, but when it comes to the proposition of the argument in and of itself, I just can't do it. I get lost. I try it and I just get lost, and I'm not, and part of me is like, okay, I'm not gonna say that this is wrong, but I'm not gonna, and I'm just gonna say this is something above my pay grade right now, and this is not something I need to be like, I'm not gonna believe in this because I can't make it. I'm just gonna accept it for what it is right now, and maybe through the time that I actually become part of the church, maybe I get the capacity to get to that point. And I do it. I do it all the time. I engage in debates all the time, and when it comes to logic and ideas, I'm not saying that I truly 100% believe in God and that God is the logos and that we can find it. I'm just saying that there are some things that are based through faith that you cannot necessarily get to the logic of it. Sometimes you just have to accept them as true. They get revealed to you.
Yes, you must acquire the phronema to fully have a. Well, I mean, I don't think there's been a saint. I'm sure you've heard the stories where a certain bishop is visiting somebody's home, and they go upstairs to get him for dinner, and they open the door, and all of a sudden they're blinded by this light, and they close the door and they look over to their wife and say, "Oh, I think he's going to be just fine," and they don't disturb him the rest of the night because he's just radiating with a bunch of glory and grace because he's reached such a high level of theosis. You got all these, anecdotal, what seems to be folklore type stories about bishops and saints that have reached certain states of theosis. However, I mean, there's a lot of relics that would kind of make you scratch your head in that regard. But I understand what you mean. Yeah, you would definitely have to just go on some faith with lots of things, and it will take time to.
Yeah,
absolutely, I understand what you mean. So, I guess on the topic of Marte.
Marte. Marte.
Marte. That's just what he's called, right? Marte. I guess your biggest. I'm still trying. I still don't understand what your biggest. Like, what exactly are you arguing against? Could you help me understand that? Because I felt really confused. Wow, that guy is totally against this.
So the one, I don't think it's a dilemma. So he presented it as a dilemma, and when I'm talking about the Muslim dilemma, there is an implied ought. So you should do this. If you go to the Bible, you should go to the Bible because there's the private revelation to confirm the Quran because it's the new revelation. That is directly in the Quran. You have to do it to confirm it. And if you do it, you realize that the Quran is false. And if you don't do it, the Quran is false because you're not going to the private revelation. That is the dilemma. It's a basic dilemma. And if you have a problem with it, you have a problem with it as a Muslim because you have a problem with how you confirm the Quran is true. When it comes to these, it's a question, and maybe the question in and of itself, I don't have necessarily a big problem with. But the question goes something like this. Is there a problem with a man dating a blind woman that is virtuous? Well, it's not even that. Is there a problem with a man opening the dating market to blind women because they're more virtuous? And I see three problems as in a logical sense with that question. One is the dating market for blind women is not closed. Like, I don't think there is a problem with a person having a preference for a blind woman and just dating her. The second one is I don't see a correlation. I don't see a correlation between blindness and virtue. Is there might be a slightly, I can even grant that there might be a slight increase in virtue, but I don't think is a huge one, and you still have the problems of feminism attached to it. And the third one is when he explains it at the end, he is stating that the man is more virtuous for picking up this woman. And once again, I don't see a correlation between a man, having a preference for a specific kind of woman, making it more virtuous.
Okay. So let's say you met a gentleman who said, "Yeah, I wasn't sure about marrying my wife, but when all things considered, I realized that because she's blind, it would have increased the chances of a faithful wife, at least according to him. Obviously, you disagree with that, but let's just say you met somebody who said that, and the reason I married her was, or the deciding factor that kind of broke the straw that broke the camel's back was because she's blind. I knew that I had a greater probability of success because I thought that would lead to a more humble wife, a more submissive one who's more dependent on me, giving me more, what would you say to that person? Let's just say I'm that person and made that argument to you.
Yeah.
And that's why that was the deciding factor. What would you say to me?
I would say that you're not marrying her because she's blind. You're marrying her because she is more likely to be faithful to you. So you're marrying into the virtues that you see in the woman, right? If you were to say I'm marrying her because she is blind, that is the actual deciding factor, then I would be like, why are you like, that doesn't make any sense. Because I'd be more willing to agree with you if you say I'm marrying her because she is faithful to me. That is a virtue that I see. And I think that is a perfectly understandable reason. But I don't see that tied up to seeing, right? If I see that man telling me that, and I see a man that says, my wife can see and she's way more likely, I've known her and she is likely not to do this, not to abandon me. She was going to be dependent on me and she's going to, I'm going to marry her because I see those virtues in her. I will tell her the exact same thing. Like, I'm glad that you choose that.
Well, it sounds, it's a little curious to me because, it sounds this way. Now, I'm not making that assertion or accusing you of anything. It sounds this way. You tell me if I'm wrong. I myself have, like my son's mother, my first child. I'm a sinner. Lord have mercy on me, right? But my first child, his mother, I could have sworn, we were together for years, and I could have sworn that she was wonderful to me. She had the best intentions. We were going to work. She was so faithful and just showed a lot of respect. I was like, wow, this is special. And one day I came home early and she was screwing a 19-year-old boy from her job in our bed. It sounds like you believe that you can just judge a person because you think they're going to be faithful, if that makes any sense. Like you can't, when it comes to relationships, you'll never see that coming, no matter how much you think you know somebody. At least I know that.
Man, the thing is, the thing I would
you were
say,
describing that.
The thing that I would say is, I first off, sorry that happened to you too. I agree with you, right? And you thought that person was gonna be faithful to you, and I would be like, oh, when you got married to her, I would be like, I'm happy for you. I hope that it actually works. At the end of the day, we have nothing that is guaranteed to us. No, the fact that you. Even if you go to and I told people this before, and I think it's true. If you think you're gonna go to the church and life is gonna get better, be ready, because that's not what the church is for. The church is not to get your life better and make it. You're gonna get richer. No, it's sacrifice and humility. That's what the church is for. It's to lower yourself to God, and you may have the virtues. You may enjoy the fruits of the spirit, and you will be able to go with life and have a good understanding of it. But it can be the case that you don't get a wife. It can be the case that you get a wife that still cheats on you. The idea, my point with this is, I will recommend people to find people, I will recommend people to what I consider to be virtuous. That is people that are trying to follow God to the best of their ability. So I would not say go forth and marry a person that is blind because it's less likely to do the things, because we don't know, and that doesn't mean the character itself. I will go ahead and be like, you know what? Try to marry someone that is gonna follow you, that is gonna be in church with you, that he understands the same ideas as you do, and maybe through that you will find, if God willing, you will find that family that's gonna be together. It's gonna be the rock in with you, right? That's what I would say.
Absolutely. Okay.
And that's
no, I
what
agree with you 100%.
That's what I'm
everything you
having.
just said.
That's what I'm having a problem with, because I see people looking at this as, and I do it. I do it as well, right? It's like, my next wife is gonna be the dumbest ever. That way, the thing she's gonna say is not gonna be I can say anything and she'll believe me, and that can be an idea. But when it comes to actually giving like when I'm doing something that I think is an argument, I really want to put forth the best argument I can, and it's the best defendable one, because I think people listen to them and maybe they will come to an understanding of what is it that we ought to do in this world, right?
Right. Now, I can agree with you. That was Marte's argument for marrying a blind person. Naive? Absolutely. Was it immature? Absolutely. Is he young in the faith? Yes. Is he a little inexperienced? Yep. But I understood it, at least. And I saw why he was saying it. And I could see the pain behind what was making him so adamant in that regard. And so that's the only reason I logged in, to be like, what? You guys really don't understand this? Because I didn't see any understanding from AVG. Did I say that right?
Well, there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more. Okay,
probably.
We have been engaging with Marte a little bit, and
so there's some beef.
A little bit. When I try to explain exactly the same thing I'm explaining to you of why I think the argument is wrong when it comes to virtue, like I got a no, the argument is perfect kind of thing, and I'm like, dude, I know, I'm not I'm not even trying to attack you. You are an Orthodox person. I'm trying to tell you that the argument has problems, and that it can be, if you wanna make it better, or maybe you can discard it and come up with a better one that is an actual dichotomy, that you can actually go on and destroy people, which is what I want. I don't want feminists to be running around being complete degenerates, right? I want them to end up in the church and repenting from their sins. That's the goal at the end.
Let me give you a little insight into my own experience. I can't speak for everybody else or every other location. I don't know where you live, but I've been to a lot of parishes, and I've met a lot of Orthodox Christians and a lot of different priests. And I can tell you firsthand that you're going to notice that you're not going to escape much by entering the church. You're still going to find feminism. You're going to find subverters who seem to be ill-willed towards you, towards conservatism. You're going to find Skittles people who are wanting to get baptized in an Orthodox church. You're going to be like, that's interesting that they would want to be an Orthodox Christian. And you're not going to know what to do with a lot of this information. I don't tell you this to discourage you. It's quite odd. And then you realize, like, during your catechism, I hope you're hearing this message, is that this is a hospital for the sick, and we are severely sick. And your sickness is not the same as that guy's sickness or that woman's sickness, but we're all sick, and you're going to run into a lot of it. So when I logged in to challenge your guys' views on this, have you ever heard Andrew Wilson talk to a feminist before? I'm sure you have, right? You guys are debaters. You know him well, right?
Yeah, I've talked to feminists before.
Yeah, but have you seen Andrew Wilson talk to feminists, like on whatever
Yes.
podcast and stuff
Yeah,
like
of
that? Okay.
course.
And all right. Do you notice that he uses a certain debate tactic that is deliberately intrusive, deliberately
Yeah.
offensive?
Yeah.
However, logically and matter of fact, he's being respectful technically, but it is completely intended to hit the heart of the problem within that feminist, and it'll trigger them beyond belief.
Yeah.
And it is, and the feminist will be like, well, why would you say something like that? Kind of like when he's talking to a Protestant and evangelical and they say, stop cussing. He'll say, fuck you. He'll deliberately now defy you because he is not right. Okay, so you have seen this.
Yeah.
I saw this Marte's guy, his argument in that light.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking when I first heard it. I was like, oh, okay. I kind of like this because F feminism. And I know they're all going to hate this like severely. And then I heard AVG saying something that I think a feminist would say, which was he shouldn't be saying that. And I was thinking, well, because it's offensive, I think he should say that. Let's say it twice as often now, kind of like Andrew would start screaming fuck now over and over again. And that's the only thing that I had a problem with. And again, I don't mean anything by that. Just
no,
I find different flavors.
I mean, I make I make arguments like that a lot of times, but I really like I don't have a problem with being aggressive in debates. I do it all the time. Like my favorite argument is ethics. Ethics is my favorite argument. I go with the transcendental argument, and I don't even dwell in the transcendental. I explain it, and then I go directly to their worldview. And it's like, well, in your worldview, you say you're subjectivist, right? You're a subjectivist, yeah. So there's nothing else.
Most won't even know what subjectivist means, but yeah, that's
it. Well, most of them are not even subjectivist. They are collectivist. They believe the collective is the one that decides the morals. Right?
Yeah, the majority.
So I will go and I will like, well, I want to go ahead and do X monstrous thing. And they're like, no, you can't do it. We will stop you. It's like, okay, well, you're a collectivist. You're not a subjectivist. But I have people tell me, yeah, 2 + 2 = 5. If you say so, I mean, you could be wrong. It's like, why would I be wrong? Well, yeah, you're right. 2 + 2 = 5 if you want to. It's like, okay, you're absurd.
Yeah,
so
it gets crazy, man. What do you feel about Jay Dyer openly and publicly saying, I'm not going to do this theology debate anymore?
I mean, I agree. I think that he has done a lot. If he wants to move on because he doesn't really want to do it anymore, I think it's perfectly understandable. It's gonna be missed. I'm gonna miss him going off and trying to explain people why the Council of Chalcedon is important, and it is wrong for.
And it's pronounced Chalcedon, not Chalcedon. I love when he does that.
Yeah. So those I will miss his debates. I really consume them a lot. And I learned a lot from him, and I'm extremely grateful to his body of work, because it was a lot thanks to him that I move away from not knowing where to go or where was the truth. And it was very good. It was something that I really enjoy.
Well, what was your topic of tonight's stream anyways? Is it daytime or nighttime for you? Because it's late for me. I'm just curious what your intention was tonight. I don't mean to get in the way of it.
Yeah, I'm in Utah, so it's late night. So Utah. we've been beefing a little bit with Marte. So we were just Daria or AVG was reacting to the different streams that were covering the debate she was having, and we're just talking about it. There's a lot of people who really get a lot of mad, and there was in the other panel, there's a lot of people that are kind of feminists, kind of libertarians, kind of on the other side.
And what do you say, Martel or Marte? Man, I'm gonna get that wrong every time.
Yeah,
I gotta watch some of his stuff, I guess. I need a clearer picture. I don't know what's going on. Would you say he's Who does he mostly closely align with? Would you say he's more of an Andrew Wilson or like an Alex Soren? Alex Soren's more composed and refined.
Nah, he's more of an Andrew. He's a super Andrew Wilson fan, and it's fine. I'm a super Andrew Wilson fan too. Like, I really enjoy his content.
Okay.
But he's
your
like
intent
really into
tonight
it.
was to do what?
Oh, we're just reviewing it. I was just talking. My intent is just talk about the argument itself. I just really don't like the argument, but I don't. I like when it comes to anything else. I just this is like the last time I think I'm gonna be talking about it.
Well, let's say I want to go to Georgia and marry a dumb farm girl who's never been off the farm, who was homeschooled, can barely read, but she is she's prayerful. And I go to her father and say, "Hey, I want to marry your daughter." And he goes, "Well, why would you want to marry her?" And I go, "Well, she's beautiful and she's dumb. She's not been off the farm. She's not a feminist, obviously. She'll obey and she'll be humble. She'll be a good wife. She's very prayerful." What would you think that's a?
Is it me or him? I think it's him. Let me check. Oh no. Oh, it is him. Moses. Hopefully everything is fine. I'm gonna type in chat. He crashed. I had such a good answer. I'm gonna wait for him, see if he comes back. Yeah, it is him. And Farmer Boy going to university. That's pretty cool. Good to see you, everybody. Good to see all of you. Yeah, he lost. Hopefully he'll come back. If I roam the wilderness of the internet, I sleep in twig huts till then. I didn't read all of it. I saw some people saying a couple things that I thought interesting. So by church, this is ultimately an individual choice, so does it have to be recognized by the government if it's an individual choice? We're talking about between you and God. The church is not only you and God. It's a three-way. So it encompasses the three telos. It encompasses the collective, the individual, and the authority. But if you didn't get a reaction, you wouldn't see the pro-feminist arguments from anti-feminist. What? Yep. That's okay. I knew you had lost it. If you want to jump on back, you can. If not, I'll if you're going to bed. Okay. Listen, if you ever wanna come back, that would be greatly appreciated. I hope you have an excellent night. God bless you. And stay safe. Well, have a great night. Let's talk to Seth. If he wants to jump a panel, he can. If anybody wants to ask questions, we're going to do Ask Emmet a Question stream. If anybody wants to ask questions, just click on that, ask me a question. It's going to be just you and me, so if you're in the back, I'm going to keep you in the back. What is this? Let's see if this allows me finally to. That's not gonna allow me to connect. Night is for the leads to rest. True. How do you feel about remarrying your ex-wife? Me? I don't have an ex-wife. But if it depends. If it was to be done, if there was no actual problem within the marriage, like nothing that I would consider that needs to get to the point of a divorce, and you do it because of the kids, to try to get the kids to a better place, I think it's perfectly understandable. Are you white? No, I'm brown. Yeah, I don't have a problem to remarrying your ex-wife if the proposal and the idea is, you know, you're gonna renew your vows and you're gonna renew your vows and you're gonna try to get it together. It would depend on what kind of offense caused the marriage to break. But usually I would say, yeah. Yes, you do, Emmett. I sent you a picture of your ex-wife about an hour ago. I don't have an ex-wife. I don't know what you're talking about. Iranian? I'm not Iranian. I am I'm Czechoslovakian. I'm from Mexico. Brown, a little bit brown. I was born in Mexico. My family is from the US. I'm here. It's fine. I need to give more explanations. If you wanna call eyes, I can give you the number though. I have a problem with that. Besides, it didn't work out the first time. Would you do it again? As I said, it will depend upon it. There's a specific passage that talks about is from Paul. He says that if something happens, you know, the wife should stay alone unless she wants to go. She tries to go back and, you know, remarry. With accent from Mexico, I speak French. Emmett built pyramids, people. I did. Who did I argue with the most horses? I don't know. I don't have the setup, Emmett, but I'll put this from what probably would be the church's stance. Did God not make them blind and follow up? What? Did God not make them blind? And a follow-up question, are those not trials to overcome? Yes, this has nothing to... Yes, God make them blind. Are those not trials to overcome? Yes, they're trials to overcome. I don't see a reason why a blind woman should not be able to marry. I think if you have, you know, if this woman is virtuous, and you think it's gonna work with her, I think it's fine. You won't hear me because my microphone's. It's fine. You don't have to. If you wanna send me questions or continue through these, that would be good. The only reason why I'm not taking up the questions and putting them on the screen is because what I used to put them on the screen is not working. So again, it's subjectivity. I don't know what you mean by subjectivity. Is it dependent upon that woman to overcome this? This is the problem that I have with the idea of subjectivity that you're giving me. Are you talking about the woman or are you talking about the men? First off, the blind pill is a horrible name for it. Second, anyone trying to use this trap should be very, very careful about how they frame it, or they will end up getting dog pile like Marte. Yes, it is about argument. I don't think it's a good argument when it comes to it. In fact, I think the phrase that Moses was going for, there is this woman that lives in the farm. She's pious because you know her. She's pious. She tries to follow God. And you go to the father because you want to marry her, even though she's very, very dumb. Okay, I don't see a problem with that. I think that's perfectly understandable. But if you talk that, you know, if you tell that to a feminist, the feminist is very likely to lose their shit. Viewers. I have a very high Q. I lie to pretend dumb to protect. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Both. What is dependent on one sex? Marriage is not dependent on one sex. Both have to say yes. But this is what I'm talking about. It's like I don't know what you mean by subjectivity. Yeah. She got timed out. She got timed the fuck down. Oh whoa. I'm gonna put it once again if anybody wants to. Yeah. Well, people, I'm gonna bounce. Vintage is starting shortly. I need to take. Okay, bye. Take care. Be too subjective if you believe it is really universal human nature or cosmic truth. But subjective if you believe it is defined by individual societies, cultures, or personal feelings. Yes, I think I explained this specifically. We're talking about the argument is done through the reference of an orthodox person. So virtue doesn't come from your subjective ideas. It will be directly to the nature of God. Okay, that's it. It's just directly related to the nature of God. So it wouldn't be subjective. There is an objective idea of what virtue is. There might be subjectivity in some cases. I'll let you come back in 5 minutes. I can time you out. We call him Melvin. Yeah, we do. And by the way, I don't need to be protected. My fifis are fine. But the tyrants that are my mods can do what the fuck they want. So virtue is human nature by objective, but subjective by personal feelings. Virtue is not human nature. Virtue is related to the nature of God. That is the objective. You can say that it has subjectivity because the way what you ought to do is dependent upon the subject. I don't have the same. I don't have the same. I don't have the same duties than my wife has. If I had a wife, my wife wouldn't have. My wife has a specific kind of duties towards me. I have the specific kind of duties towards her. We have a specific kind of duties towards the church. We have the specific type of duties towards our children, and it encompasses everything. So the way that we act is a little bit subjective because it's how I should act, but the virtue comes from God and His nature. It's directly related to the nature of God. Yeah, virtue is almost an antithesis to human nature. Yes, because you have to lower yourself in a sense. I'm objectively subjective. True. Good to see you, Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill, great friend to the channel. He is one of the cool people in the channel. If nobody comes up, I'm gonna continue watching the cool week coverage of this debate, just to finish it, because I have a final thing to say. Final thing to say. What I was gonna say? Exactly, Abe. The contradiction was the point. There's no contradiction. What is the P and not P? Your personal responsibility to get, to fulfill your duties is not the same as the duties themselves. So the duty themselves comes from the nature of God. That's what you ought to do. That's why it's your duty you do it. And then how you do it, that is personal to you, but it has nothing to do with the duties that you have. So virtue is to follow the nature of God. How you follow it has to be with your has to be with you, because you are the subject. Okay, you are the subject to God. That's the point. Oh my God, I was gonna do. Oh yeah, only Mr. Bill. It's not moral. It's not moral relativism, dude. By the way, everybody, this is Mr. Bill, great friend of the channel. He does a lot of political coverage and stuff like that. He's really, really cool. So I would recommend you to follow him. I'm not going into moral relativism. I'm not doing that at all. Let's continue watching this. So I can just finish it. I'm probably not even gonna make this an available stream. I'm just gonna finish it because I think it's important. But yeah, I'm not doing moral relativism. Are riches downstream of morals, or the other way, or the other way for you? So moral, the way that it's been explained to me is moral is what the people think is good, and ethics is the framework. So morals will be the way I look at morals is you do what is moral because it's a virtue that you do, right? So I would say that yes, virtue is downstream of morals. You have to have access to the good before you can even do what is good. A modern democratic society, tolerance and empathy are prioritized. You are? I'm not prioritizing tolerance and empathy. You really don't understand. Hence why your whole argumentation structure around predatory. My argument has nothing to do with predatory. My argument is I have no reason to believe, in accordance to his argument, that he is not being predatory. Oh, cancel. So you know, gonna call you most man babies who need safe space, your tantrums, call me Melvin all you want. At least I don't need to pretend to be a psychology expert because I can actually learn new tricks. Oops, pick a longer time out next time. That's fine. So Melvin, just if you wanna talk, debate me, bro. Just debate me, bro. Yeah, you need access to what is good so that you ought to do what is good, which is the virtue. Makes sense. That's all it is. Let's do this since it is what it is. Yeah, but I'm not arguing that he is being predatory. I'm arguing that the argument makes no sense, and there's no reason to. There's nothing I can do to deny it either. Why would it be true that he is not being predatory? Why do I have to presuppose that? Is there a good reason to believe that it is the case? In fact, the answer to the question that he was going to make, I mean Moses, the answer to his question was, I would say, it's perfectly fine if the father allows it. So the father will be the one judging your moral character.
Call, I can play it again.
I want to bring it up, and I also want to poll in all of our chats to see if people watching that would have thought that you were saying that men should go for blind chicks, that it's a good idea. That's what I want.
Yeah, so the problem with this too is that when we look at the Rollo Tomassi interview too, I was just describing this, and it's not a worldview. What I'm saying is it's my own personal bias that I'm saying. I'm not describing the blind pill per se as a rhetorical tool then. I'm saying that I would do this if I say this. I never said you should do this, and I've never said men should target blind women. In the Rollo Tomassi interview, I said, in this hypothetical, the dating market's open, and what it does is it traps feminists. It's designed to...
The dating market's already open. That is the problem that I have, that it doesn't follow. It just doesn't follow. Don't wait to the end of a debate to try and schedule a freaking debate. No, it's what Melvin did when it came to, hey, I want to debate you on these to Daria. That's fine.
Trap people in a rhetorical paradox.
The thing is, this is what the debate was supposed to be about. She wanted to. She was saying that she understood XYZ thing when it comes to some study. I don't even remember the study. And all I wanted to do was go through the data of the study, which I was going to have. She said, I will send you the information a week before, and she spent like a full month reading papers and shit. So I was giving her a lot of time to read them, and all I wanted to go is through what was the methodology used in those studies, so that we could check the methodology and if she knew it. And at the end, she just ran from that debate. I was like, okay, well. But the definition of the Bible, virtues, is really objective. So again, it's human nature by definition of virtue. It's God's nature. How many times do I have to say that? The quadriplegic appeal is superior to the blind? True. I get how virtues will be objective then. Moral lead to virtues would lead to an objective standard when the church prescribes morals. The truth is with the church to define an objective moral standard which people can live their life by to survive and reproduce. True, that's exactly what it means. And you have a reference framework as to what is good when it comes to the church. And the point is that it isn't changing because the church is set up by God himself, so his standard is the same, right? Jesus Christ is at the head of the church, thus he is the one prescribing what you ought to do.
That's literally what you're falling into right now.
That's not what you said on May 31st. Nobody knows the Rollo Tomassi interview. Literally.
What does dating lead to, though, Emmett? What's if you're like
Yeah, dating is not the same as marriage. So when he's saying that he's going to open the market because these women are going to be blind, that's the point of my argument here.
Orthodox Christian, what's dating supposed to lead to?
Yeah, it's supposed to lead to marriage.
Knows. I asked a bunch of people in
They don't have to know. So here's why that doesn't make any sense. If I make this statement to a massive, hold on, I'm not done talking. If I make this
I run from you and you're all jumping through hoops to run from me. You run from me. I didn't say I didn't want to do the debate. You said it. What do you want me to do? You want me to be the one that is gonna be... Oh, dude, I don't want to do the debate. Oh, I'm gonna force you to make the debate now. Like, you didn't want it to. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. Fuck off. It's the same thing that happened with... I was... What up?
So, you said you gave me 2 criteria for the debate.
And you accepted them, right?
No.
No?
You gave me 2 conflicting criteria.
No, we're not conflicting.
One entails that we go all the way back to primary sources, and everything back to primary sources is open for critique. That is called an internal critique. The
exactly.
Other one is just looking at the 3.
It was methodology. I wanted to know if you understood the methodology of the different studies.
Do you understand the methodology?
I don't know because they don't have the studies, do I? I will have to go through the studies and read them and understand what is the methodology they're going to.
So you're challenging me to a debate before you've read the methodology?
Yes, because I don't think you understand methodology when it comes to scientific studies.
So wait, is the point to contest the methodology or the point to put my understanding in question?
Your understanding in question, because that is the point.
Oh, okay. So the topic of the debate would be Melanie Cosmic Fox does not understand
the topic of the debate would be, are the methodology in these studies valid? And you would have to prove that they are valid.
That just examining the methodology is not an internal critique, which would take you back already all the way to the primary sources.
It is an internal critique because I'm critiquing I'm critiquing the way that they do the methodology, and you will have to defend that methodology.
Internal critique is not just critiquing anything that's within the paper. It is critiquing all the sources at the paper site, all the sources they cite, all the way back to what's known as primary sources, which is the first literature that ever put the fundamental theories that science takes for granted into the public consciousness.
No, it would be. It depends on the topic. For example, there was a person who brought forth.
How many internal critiques have you done, Emmett?
A bunch. So there is
in actual academia.
Oh my god!
Or
Who cares? Who the fuck cares? Okay, I'm telling you how it works so that you understand. The point of it was there was a debate that was I don't even know if we had it. There was a debate with another person. He brought up a source, I went to the source, I look at the methodology, I say, hey, this methodology doesn't make any sense. He couldn't defend it, and then that was that, because the methodology was flawed. When you're saying, I know all of these, I know all the numbers, I'm trying to figure out if you actually do know all the numbers. And what I was going to do was going to go to the different studies. I'm going to look at the different ways, and I'm going to ask you, well, why did they choose, for example, to just, let's say, hypothetical, because I don't know, let's say that there is a study that says women are more likely to have friends, and then you go to the source, and the source has a survey of 200 women, and it's making a general statement of women have more friends. Then I will ask you, well, why did they accept only 200 women? Is there a reason as to why this is accepted in the grand scheme of the community with a sample that is so small? And I would go through those kind of hoops, and you will have to defend that the methodology is correct in your sources to say that the wholeness of your understanding of them is correct. That is the point. And I wasn't even going to go ahead and pretend that you were dumb or anything like that. Just wanted to have the debate and figure out if you actually understood what you were talking about. That was it.
So I think you're possibly confusing one of the tenets, like the principles of an internal critique, with the internal critique itself. One of the principles of internal critique is that it's on the other person to show their case. That's fine.
It's on you.
Yes, but you typically have to understand that stuff better than the other person to judge if they have the comprehension or not.
I was gonna go through the different studies once you provided them, which you didn't, so I cannot have a I cannot have
what
it.
If
right?
your judgment is just a reflection of your own lack of comprehension in the things I'm saying going over your head?
Perfect. Then I'm gonna look like an idiot, wouldn't I?
Only to people who understand it, and this is pretty high level stuff. So most of our audience is the people who tend to see us will probably not follow.
So you're gonna call them all idiots? Is that what you're gonna do?
Well, we do tend to push away like real.
I'm gonna ask you once again. I'm gonna just ask you.
Attract people who speak in memes and emotes.
So you're calling everybody that watches it, everybody who would watch it would be just idiots, right?
People who probably enjoy Marvel comics or fall into the Marvel versus DC debate, if not NASCAR fans.
Have you ever talked to a fucking nerd?
Okay, well, yes. So,
so you're telling me that nerds are retarded?
I've already pointed out that I didn't say nobody here's an intellectual. I'm just saying most people, we tend to push out intellectuals, push away intellectuals, and attract people.
How the fuck do you know that? Analysis. Yeah, how do you know that?
By spending years in this space. 6.
So it's according to you?
Well, this is my personal experience. Yeah, it's anecdotal.
Okay. So in accordance to you, if that is the case, why would you even have a debate in this space?
Well, because I think we can attract intellectuals by having actual intellectual arguments. Emmett, I do think you're capable of an intellectual argument, but I think we need to start with one where maybe the playing field is level first, because I don't think you're coming at this from a point where I have anything I need to prove to you. Like, why do I care if Count Emmett on the internet thinks I understand the methodologies of the papers I'm talking about?
I'm not going. That was not the point, Melvin. What I was going to do is read the papers, and I was going to go through the different.
That was the point. Okay.
I have done that before. I have gone through papers, and I've looked at the
No,
methodology,
I'm not saying you can't.
and I've said, for example, the one that I remember correctly was, how do I know that this is correct when it comes to people being more or less happy, depending on how promiscuous they are? This is just a survey of about 700 people, and the actual size of people is 20 million, and we don't know if there's any ramifications in the short or long term. So why would I accept this? Is that is the point of the argument. I've done it before. It's not like I'm gonna go. Listen, you cannot like me. I don't like you. It's fine. But when it comes to debate, if you don't know me, when it comes to debate, it's fine. But I don't go to debates pretending that I'm just gonna go and dunk on people. That's not my debate style. That's not what I do in debates.
God damn, you made me lose my point.
My apologies.
Yeah, no, it's totally lost. So good on you for that, because it got me thinking about the horny for debate comment I made earlier when you were like to the Moss guy, like, oh, come up and talk to it on panel. Like, Jesus, Emmett. That was just a joke. Damn it, I legit forgot my point, but the overall point was just that, like, again, I want to win a debate against you in general, again, on the level playing field first. And if you can prove to me that you're a real challenge, then maybe I will be like, okay, maybe I will let Emmet try to do this more experimental thing he's trying to do.
It's not experimental. That's what you do in a thesis.
Right, but this is the panel verse. This isn't academia.
I'm not trying to be academic. I'm just telling you that this is done all the time.
Send me a video where you do what you think is an internal critique to the highest effectiveness, then I'll be like, okay, Emmet actually has the merit to do this, and it's just going to waste my time.
Dude, listen, I don't have to prove myself to you, okay?
You want to have a debate? I don't have to prove myself to you. That's all I'm saying.
Perfectly fine, okay? You don't want to have a debate. I'm not going to force you. It's fine.
But no, Emmet, I'm saying I do want to have a debate, right?
On. Yeah, that's fine.
I just want to have a debate where you don't set most of the conditions to begin with. And
you can change the topic. You can change the topic to something else if you want to have a different kind of debate. That's fine.
No, Emmet, again, it's not any of that. I just want to have a fair, level grounded, or whatever I was saying before. I can't think apparently right now. Debate where instead of me being on the defensive the whole time, it can go either way. Like, typically debates go around here. There's no academic pressures where you would be the person examining and I would be the understudy who's trying to prove myself.
Yeah.
But even grounded.
I have
a video, and as long as I have a strong agreement, I will do it, even if I don't like it.
Okay. I have a video, just to let you know. I have a video with Horseradish. Horseradish, all he did was ask me questions about my worldview. He did a complete internal critique about me when all he did was ask me questions. If you want to see that, you can see that. I have had debates.
I don't need a demo. I want to see your skills.
I have had debates where I have gone through the internal critique. You can go to one of the ones that I can tell you about is the ethics debate that I had. It was happening in Horseradishes, and the whole point of the debate was an internal critique on him, in which I'm trying to figure out if he has any kind of way to actually prove that there is any morals. It ended up in a very funny way when he said 2 + 2 = 5 because I say so, and because if he wants to, he can say so too. So, if you want to see any of my debates, you can do it. If you want to have a debate that is not about that, you can tell me. If I want to have the debate, I will have the debate. If I don't think this is a debate to have, we can have a different debate. But at the end of the day, I offer one, you said yes, then you said no. If you want to have it, fine. If you want to have a different debate, fine, contact me. I don't have a problem with having debates.
Sure. Here, for example, just for a topic, so we can just get this over with. Trans athletes, I take it you're against trans people being in the sport of the gender that they choose.
I'm for them. I just want them to beat the fuck out of women, so that probably we get rid of women sports.
And the good faith position is?
That's a good faith position. Why wouldn't I want that? I don't like...
Well, my position is that trans women wouldn't necessarily do that, for one thing.
I don't like female sports. They're boring as fuck.
Okay. Well, what about trans men in male sports?
I'm okay with that too. Why would I don't want that?
Okay. I'll let anyone else take that at that point. I guess I'll just wait for something to come up. But in general, you can admit that like this whole discussion we just had was very meta, right?
It is very meta.
And running or dodging is a very kind of low-level critique of someone's intentions for why they do behaviors. And if I was running, I think we could agree. I wouldn't be coming here to talk to you about this right now and to give routes that we could actually have a debate.
I mean, we can have a debate. That doesn't mean that. Listen, this has to do the meta conversation when it comes to the YouTube. I agree, it can be dumb, but at the end, it's entertaining. So I'm doing entertainment. I will go ahead and say it that way. You can say that.
I don't need an apology. I just wish you would stop saying I'm running. Is all, because I'm definitely not running.
Once I get the debate, once we get the debate, I'll stop saying it.
And a little stacked against me. So I'm just saying, let's start with a fair debate. And if you prove to me that like you're someone, you're a threat, I need to actually put my shit together and put some time in, put more time than just a typical 1v1. I do put time into them. Then I'm all for it. But or you can send me the video of you doing it, because then I know you have those skills and not horseradish. So like I said, I'm trying to keep avenues open.
I'm just
not saying
telling
no, we
you
can't do this.
I'm just telling you that the format exists. It has been done. I
believe you. I've heard of internal critiques a lot.
Yeah.
So I think critiquing a methodology isn't necessarily the same thing, but that's okay. Again, that's the meta part. It just seems to me like you do show yourself to be an intellectual, but when you try to set up debates this way,
this is not about being an intellect. I'm not an intellectual.
You're smarter than the average panel verser. Okay, but I say that as broadly as possible. If that's, I'm not referring to specific groups.
I'm not gonna pretend that. I don't know if I'm not an intellectual. I don't pretend that. That's a if anybody's gonna put that on me, it's not gonna be me. I don't think that it shows like you are. In fact, I would say that if you call yourself an intellectual, you probably.
Let me put it this way, Emmett. If I was looking for a more intellectual debate, you would be on my top 10 list of people who are currently in circulation, quote unquote, of going through panels, and I think that they would actually give me a difficult debate.
What do you think of I don't want to do that one because it's gonna go back into sources.
Guns. Do you like guns?
I like guns. Do you want to do? Yeah, you want to do Second Amendment?
Well, okay. So here's my position, and let's see if I can give you plenty of sources on this.
Mm-hmm.
Owning a gun makes you, your family, and the people within your immediate vicinity and your community less safe. That's my affirmative.
Okay, let's do that one. So
okay, cool.
Let's I don't want to do it in Taylor. I think I know a person who can do it. Let me contact them. I don't think I have you in Discord. Do I?
Yeah, my thing is really simple. If I just find it, I always. Oh yeah, it's just this thing. It's just Melanie Cosmic Fox, no spaces. If you search for that, it'll be like a weird AI Fox picture that I don't use around here, but it's within the same vein of me having weird Fox pictures.
No. I sent you a message. I'll send me the prompt directly. Yep. You know what? How about horseradish?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like you're speaking highly of horseradish, and if you think they'll be fair, then I'll give them a try.
Yeah, I think he'll be fair. We can do it there. It's more of a lefty community anyway, so you're gonna feel.
Oh, I don't need that. That's for sure. See, here's the thing, Emmett. I do get offended when people try to say like, "No, you run." It's like I'm in the space that's like typically hostile towards my existence to begin with. All the odds are stacked against me, folks. Like, give me some credit, please.
I mean, my people hate you anyway, so we can do that, and then we can have that debate, and we can stop saying that everybody runs, and then maybe we can have more debates, which is fine by me.
Or at least just do better critiques. Tell people how to do better. Constructive criticism, right? Like we can do that.
Depends. Sometimes you want to see the world burn. It's fun.
I mean, sometimes, like for Simon, I just wanted to tell Simon, don't be Simon.
Yeah. Okay. When the last time, I was talking about the blind pill. Somebody asked me, "Well, have you ever talked to your friends about the blind pill?" And I said, "No, but yes, I had the conversation. We were talking about whether or not we will date a black woman, and I said no, and then they say a blind person. I say yes. It was obviously a joke, but it was funny."
Sure. I did not follow. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like my brain might melt if I try to.
That's
put
fine.
all that together.
Don't worry about it.
I do wonder if the blind pill thing is something worth putting energy into, but that's just like I don't have to do it. I'm not necessarily pushing.
I can probably do it, but why would I do it? It's a fallacy machine. Why would I give you?
And it's going to disappear once we all stop giving it attention.
Why would I?
Like, that's how meaningless it is.
You actually put energy and time and effort into arguments to make them as strong as possible. Why would I not do that, right?
Sure, yeah. Anyways, I actually do have a busy morning ahead of me, so I'm going to go.
Good night.
But thanks for having this chat.
Take care.
And I'm going to grace you all with my absence now.
Thank you. So annoying. But until then, you ran from the debate. Finally, my thing is working. I can probably put them up. Thanks so much to Bree for the insanely huge $5 Canadian. I like shoes. I like money. Do you know what? Let's do that one. I don't know what. Like literally, I was convinced of what I said when it comes to the. When it came to the woman in sports. It's like, before I heard that argument, it's like, oh well. Yeah, women in sports is fucking boring. Why would I want to keep on doing that? Moses with the big, when he sent a huge $5 super chat, says, "Oh, I may want to marry a blind person because there are more virtues, and think you are a feminist because you don't. But hey, get 7 figures, fist bump." I need 7 figures. You know what? They made another one. They made the No, I just want to go to Cringe Core Records. Yeah, they made Cholo Church.
Did you ever have Victory Outreach experience when you were on the West Coast?
What is that?
It's basically like Cholo Church.
Oh, really? Cringe Core. Cholo Church. Hey, dude, this is straight up, bro. Cholo Church. Look, homie, you could go anywhere, bro. So, Cholo Church. I'd be going here instead of freaking Ruslan's church or whatever, dude.
Or whatever,
Cholo
dude.
Church. Dude, this church is about 50 times less gay than freaking Ruslan's, bro. Cholo Church. Dude, how come I didn't even know about freaking Cholo Church? JB, dude, how come he ain't at Cholo Church, bro? Cholo Church. He's over here trying to get inside of the freaking Ruslan's butt buddy church. Cholo Church. Dude, he need to go to Cholo Church, bro.
Cholo Church.
I'm gonna grab me a little blonde-haired, blue-eyed white boy and put him on the white side of town, you know? And if that ain't good enough, I'm gonna grab me a little ching-chang, ping-pong playing China boy and put him on the Asian side of town.
Whoa, dude. Damn, bro. They based as hell over at Cholo Church. They making freaking white dude jokes, making Chinese jokes, bro. They don't even give a fuck. How do all of the Cholo women, like, they were fat before everybody was fat, dude. It's like Cholo women were just always like a circle, dude. Like, they was born coming out like a circle, bro. Like, they didn't even go through like a transformation where they were like hot when they were young or whatever. Like, they was just straight a circle the whole time, bro. The spheres, bro. That's the order that Sam Shimon was talking about. And how could you refute me or whatever? Cholo Church.
How could you refute me or whatever? Oh, not woman. My God, I'm kind of tired, I guess. Share that information. It will be awesome. If you could share how exactly is done, I would really say thank you. Shit, I fucked that up. Built on what, clean? Yeah.
I should say if you're like a Christian in general.
In 2025.
Yeah, if you're well, this whole argument is built upon the idea of Orthodox Christians. That's another problem I have. That's another thing I have a problem with. I have a little problem with that. I like money and I like shoes. Oh man, if I have this fucking debate, I'm gonna have to go to actual statistics and analysis. Somebody has to have that. I'll ask around. It's gonna be fine. You could also do it on the definitions of the Bible virtue objective virtue definition, but then I switch to more relativism and the subjective virtue. What? I don't understand the switch. I really don't understand the switch.
On one of the biggest platforms, and you say nobody knows about this, it doesn't mean it's not true that it's a rhetorical debate tool.
Are you debating me on the meta of this? Like,
it's not a meta. That's what it's used for.
Okay, but comment. We're not talking about the red pill though. That's the thing. See. This is what we're talking about here. You're putting in your own assertions and axioms, as Marte says.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I am. He is talking in generalities. I am. He's talking in generalities.
No one said red pill. No one's saying that. Again,
why shouldn't I believe? That's what I was talking about. This is the problem that I see. Is like, well, it's red pill. No, nobody's talking about that. Well, how did I know? I didn't know that, I guess. Let's see if you get the opponent to define the preferences a specific way, then question them about the preference that has two answers, both of which feminists don't like to admit verbally. Okay, I understand that, Cleaner. So, I'm gonna say it again because this is how I looked at it. Okay? The way that I look at it and I was told about it was that the question goes like this. Is it okay for men to open the dating market to blind women because blind women are more virtuous? That is it. Emmet, you never talked to Marte? I did talk to Marte. What are you talking about, Abe? I was in the after panel in the debate. I asked the questions directly about virtue. I asked him, should a man, because I explained the implicit prescription. I explained this many times. And then I asked him, does men ought, or what is the thing that men are trying to date? Are they trying to date the virtue or are they trying to date the blindness? And I understand that he was trying to move away from the prescription, but the prescription is implicit, just like in the Muslim dilemma, because you're presupposing that they ought look for this woman. So you're about to get transformed in a second. What? Oh, the philosophers.
This is the Rorschach test. Okay, we're showing you something, and then you're drawing your own like conclusions, and you're saying things that aren't said. It's supposed to kind of be revealing things about you.
No, there's nothing to reveal about me. This is the problem, that there's no definition behind it. It's like, well, dating. Okay, what do you mean by dating? Oh, it has to be Christian. But what about the other people dating? And then men, it's not Christian men should... No, it's just men. So, this is the problem that I have with this argument. The problem with the argument is that it doesn't follow. I rejected it twice, and the reason why you reject arguments or you reject hypotheticals is because they're either logically unsound or logically impossible. Those are the two reasons why you reject them. Okay? It's like, oh, I don't agree with this hypothetical because the idea is completely unsound. It doesn't make any sense. Okay? It's false on its premise. It's false on its face. Or it's not even logically possible. Like there's nothing. One of the things that I would say, for example, and I'm sure that is the truth, libertarianism is not a possible political system. So when people would ask me, imagine there is a libertarian, if there's a libertarian utopia, I would say I cannot even imagine it because it's not possible.
Perhaps I have misdirected white knight syndrome. Maybe this could be you, Isaac. Maybe this could be you.
I need a moment. I need to find my phone real quick. I've been saving for a yacht. Okay. Alright. My apologies. I was looking at something real quick.
That's literally what it's used
your
for.
May 31st stream, not your interview with Rollo Tomasi, thought that you were saying that like it would be a good idea to seek a blind wife.
So hold on. When you say thought, what does that mean when you say they thought?
What do you mean that you don't know what thought means? Are we like just
no. I want you to tell me what they thought was. What does it mean when you say they thought?
How
much
any
certainty
reasonable
is there?
person watching you say what you said would have construed your message as, and the fact that like everybody did in that way is what the hell, man.
This is working. This is actually working the way that I designed it. You said thought and you said construe. How much certainty is that?
Next level.
Right.
Okay,
so when you say thought is doing heavy lifting and construe is doing the heavy lifting. It's not a prescription.
If everybody
not a prescription.
Interprets you saying something, does that give it any weight to you?
There is a prescription because that's the problem. It's built on agree on definitions of preference. I understand that, but this is the thing that I was asking. Why are you preferring her? Are you preferring her because it was virtuous or because it was blind? And he told me several times because it was virtuous, because of the virtue. But if it's about the virtue, it's not about the blindness. And I don't know how to explain that. Okay. I'm gonna stop that because that was me being annoying.
Supposed to be built like
Abe understands because he is saying that there's a triple, like it's wrong in 3 different places. The necropeel was a easy defeater for some libertarians. Well, it's not a peel, and that is an ethics question, okay? It should not be taken. The black pills are really taken. Libertarianism is for ideologues. Libertarians can only exist in a democracy? Not really, because democracy entails that there's a state. Kind of like trans or a thing in the real world. Yeah, true. I start to block what horses is saying.
It's supposed to be built like that, to where it sets people up for the premise to fall into the dilemma. That's literally what the tool is meant to do.
Everybody could have known that. Oh my god.
They're not supposed to know. Hold on. So hold on. I'll even speak to Tyler, even though Tyler's not going to talk. Tyler, if I tell you a trap before you walk into it, does that make the trap better or worse?
Well, we've seen this before, so I just want to go to the end of this. I'm not even there. You know what? I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah. Let's watch Cholo Church. Let's watch Cholo Church ese. Oh, there's the debate with JP. I want to see the debate with JP. It's Cholo Church. Yeah.
That's right. Today, put on the full armor of God. Put on Jesus Christ. Fight against the enemy. Because we love you, God. So we do it for Jesus Christ. Put on salvation as your helmet and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the sword of God. So put on the full armor of God. Jesus Christ. I love you, God. Him, I'm true. Jesus Christ. Chestnut of righteousness. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. This guy is my favorite. This fucking guy.
Jesus Christ. Shoot of peace. Stop it on the enemy. We love you, God. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, we love you, God. Shield and faith of God. Jesus Christ. Have your flag right here. Hey, helmet of salvation. Jesus Christ. Look, there goes the enemy. Look, there goes the enemy. So we hold up the sword of truth. Jesus Christ. Shield of faith. I love y'all.
Oh God. Oh, Cholo Church is so good. JP versus Alex Soren.
We're here. This was a very fun discussion. Now, somebody said, JP, they did a poll and you lost. Of course I lost.
Okay. Is there an actual... Where's the debate? Alex Soren. Anybody has a link to that church? Modern Day Debates? A link to that church? It's MDD? Okay, MDD. There it is. It has to be this one, right?
Perpetua and Felicity is composed by St. Perpetua's journal entries and eyewitness accounts from the early 200s AD in Carthage, Africa.
Oh my God. This is gonna be a long opening statement for what I see. That's
an early pre-Nicene church, and we're starting.
We're gonna go ahead and learn a little bit. Okay, we're gonna leer. We are going to leer.
Now, where's Alex's opening statement? Thanks for being with us.
Is this for funsies or is this real? Oh, you're talking about Cholo Church? Cholo Church is for real, ese. Cholo Church for real, ese. Okay, we're gonna go closer to Christ. Okay. Gee.
Alex, the floor is all yours.
All right, just let me... Are my slides up?
Now they are.
All right, thank you. The point at issue for tonight's debate is whether praying to saints is an apostolic Christian practice. My name is Alex Soren. I'm an Orthodox Christian, and I will show you in my opening...
I've heard several ideas from these. I hope that we actually get it. It's going to be interesting.
Statement here that praying to departed saints is an apostolic practice, and I think this is one of the strongest arguments that the Holy Orthodox Church is the one true church, founded by Christ and the apostles, because it's still in continuity with this ancient tradition.
So it has a great opening statement, even though they're longer. Yeah, that's okay. I'm interested. I've heard I've heard some of the arguments from Jay Dyer, so I'm really interested in listening to these arguments because just by tradition, I would say that it's obvious that the prayer to the saints makes perfect sense. It doesn't not all of the traditions are directly canonized in some kind of super strong structure, right? Especially if it was never a problem in the church. JP checked out for the entire opening of Alex. Really? You didn't listen to any? Okay, well, we are going to listen to them because I think they're very interesting.
No evangelical or Protestant group can say that. They do not have this tradition. The Holy Orthodox Church does. Tonight, I'm going to run through many evidences, which include Jewish tradition, Second Temple literature, intertestamental literature, the Bible, early church literature and liturgics, and archaeology. Indeed, all these factors show the Christian practice of praying to saints is in continuity with the uncontroversial, ancient, God-ordained traditions that his people always followed. Contrary to what some evangelical YouTubers may tell you, praying to saints is not some pagan accretion that entered the church.
See, oh, Alex with the attack or something.
After Pentecost.
By the way, I have a debate coming on the 19th. Well, we have a debate tomorrow. It's going to be me, Abe, and Stillborn. So Stillborn, Abe, and me are going to be doing a debate on the failures of democracy. We're obviously kind of against it. I am not I don't believe in democracy, not in the same way that a lot of people think. I do believe that if we're going to have a democratic system, it has to be very limited. A lot more than it is now, obviously, but yeah, I don't agree with democracy. Them YouTubers be telling you things, yeah. Damn. She. I will say that Mueller is the worst of them. Okay, Mueller will go on and use Christian symbology on a completely horrible organization like the cartels, and then be like, you cannot use fuck. So he is the worst of the worst, but
it was a widespread Hebrew practice that was properly carried into Christ's church. But before we get into evidences, I'd like to briefly set out some definitions so that we're all on the same page here. First, when I use the word pray, I'm using it in the broadest sense, akin to the word ask. You see pray used in this way in the Bible. As you can see here, across the Hebrew and Greek Old Testaments, Abigail prays to David in 1 Samuel, and Abimelech prays to his family in Judges. It just means ask. If you look at the etymology of the English word pray, it just means to ask, to make a request, or to entreat another person. It doesn't really matter if there's a religious context. You can look at the Bible and the etymology of the word. Pray just means ask. Okay. Second definition. Saint in this context, in praying to a departed saint, just means one of God's holy ones. The Greek term for saint is agios, which is used in the Greek Old Testament for the Hebrew term kedoshim. You can see that here in Job and in Zechariah that agios is used for kedoshim, describing spiritual beings. Interestingly, St. Paul uses the same term to describe Christians. As you can see here in Romans and in Ephesians, he refers to Christians as agios. So saint in this context just means holy one. Angels can be saints. People can be saints. That's what we mean by saints. So please don't misunderstand us when Orthodox Christians say praying to departed saints. We mean asking something of God's holy ones. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, moving on. Let's go back to the evidence.
And one of the ways that I've been said, or that is a good thing, is when you ask somebody else to pray for you, right? When you ask, for example, if I were to ask Abe or Elder or Moses, if I were to ask, hey, could you please pray for me? That prayer would be the same thing as me asking a saint to pray. When I pray to, when I ask a saint, to request for me, in a sense.
Evidences for the apostolic origin of praying to departed saints. We'll start with Jewish tradition. I have 3 passages here that show the historicity of praying to saints, that it is in fact pre-apostolic. So let's get into it. The first is a midrash citing the 1st century Rabbi Shimon.
Idolater. Idolater. Yeah.
Ben Gamaliel, who taught that Jews were praying to the departed already at the time of Jeremiah in about 600 BC. So for this first midrash, and for those watching, to refresh your recollection, remember in Genesis 35, Joseph sets up a grave marker for Rachel. Jeremiah later refers to this marker in the context of Rachel weeping for her children. If you know your New Testament, you'll remember that this also refers to King Herod's slaughter of the innocents. This midrash, Bereshit Rabbah, cites to 1st century Rabbi Shimon ben Gamaliel claiming Israelites prayed to Rachel at the time of the prophet Jeremiah, which was about 600 BC. Rabbi Gamaliel says Jacob foresaw that the Israelite exiles were destined to pass by Rachel's grave, and that's why Jacob buried her there, so that she would ask for mercy upon the Israelites. A footnote to the Midrash further explains that Jacob placed a marker there so that people would be able to identify the spot.
Shut the fuck up, Elder. Prayer. It's a prayer asking God to take away our free will. What? No, I think that's correct. I think that most of prayer is thanking God most of the time, and then you can make you can ask for people to recover or to have endurance or to be stilled in their faith. That's what I would think that prayer is for. And it's for. Okay.
And pray there.
But to be fair, I don't know enough with prayer. Like, I don't know all of the things that prayer is for or should be for. I know that it's a lot about giving thanks, and I would say that you should go to a priest and ask him directly. I pray God takes my will away and give me his will. Like, every day I ask him this. Yeah, but you are doing, it's like you're doing your duty because it's part of your will. But I would absolutely go to a priest and ask him this question. I'm not the correct person to be telling you that. Virtues are not abstract moral concepts or philosophical definitions. They are personal characteristics of Christ manifested in human flesh. Jesus was blindfolded earlier this morning, but it happened during his pre-trial abuse? When? What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Next, we have Tanit 16a7 citing Rabbi Hanina from the 200s AD in continuity with Gamaliel. He instructs his students to not go to Gentile graves, but to go to the Jewish graves at cemeteries. They went to these cemeteries for the deceased to ask for mercy on their behalf. Again, this is a rabbi in the 200s AD. Lastly, we have Sota 34b7 citing Rabbi Rava, who is from the 300s AD. Rabbi Rava says that after Moses dispatched the spies to the promised land, Caleb snuck off to pray to the patriarchs at their graves so that the patriarchs could intercede for him to receive mercy. This would put the practice of praying to saints back to the 1300s BC. So summing up the Jewish traditions, we have 1st century Rabbi Gamaliel putting prayers to Rachel as far back as 600 BC, Rabbi Hanina from the 200s AD with contemporary accounts of asking deceased Jews for their intercessions, and Rabbi Rava from the 300s AD conveying a tradition that Caleb the spy was praying to saints for their intercessions as early as 1300 BC. Now moving on to Second Temple literature. As you've already seen in the Jewish tradition, praying to saints for their intercessions was extremely common in the Second Temple period.
Yeah, you still haven't answered who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Elder? Are you talking to me? Jesus was blindfolded early in the morning, but it happened during his pre-trial abuse hours before he reached the hill of Golgotha. I don't know what you're talking about.
Which you see not only in the Jewish traditions we just reviewed, but also in Second Temple literature like First Enoch. The book of First Enoch was in circulation from about 100 BC and dominated the Second Temple period. For Orthodox Christians, it is recommended reading by St. Nicephorus, the Confessor of Constantinople. It's probably worth mentioning, too, that in the Ethiopian Tewahedo Church, First Enoch is even considered canonical. First Enoch was extensively referenced by the apostles, Saints Peter, Jude, and Paul, as well as ante-Nicene fathers like St. Justin Martyr. In 1 Enoch chapter 9, we're told that the men of the earth make suit to the archangels Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and...
If I'm not mistaken, and I can attest to this for different people, I believe that even things that are not directly in the Bible, like Enoch, is still seen as something that can be referenced and get some good wisdom out of them, like the writings of the saints.
Gabriel. And the archangels actually bring these prayers and present them to God. You can pause and read this if you like, but God actually responds to these prayers in chapter 10, so we know from the text that this is an effective and proper intercession, at the very least, within the context of Enoch. In chapter 105, we see Lamech is alarmed by the appearance of Noah when Noah is born. He has white hair, fiery eyes as an infant. So Lamech goes to Methuselah for help, and Methuselah cries out to his ancestor, Enoch, and we're told...
Oh, and by the way, just letting people know, okay? I might go to that panel just to showcase that I am not, like, I am. I will go too bad with people of the panel verse. It's not like I am buddies with anybody, okay?
In the text that Enoch at this time has his residence with the angels. He's not in the material world. Enoch is with the angels in the immaterial world. Methuselah calls out to Enoch, and Enoch responds. Enoch conveys to Methuselah the information he received from the Lord. Nowhere does the text ever say that this is something improper. Indeed, the mere facts that Enoch responded to Methuselah, that Methuselah is not rebuked, and that Enoch conveys the knowledge of the Lord, this tells us again that this is a proper intercession. In some, First Enoch has at least 2 very explicit references to prayers to saints, and it's not met with disapproval anywhere within the text. Indeed, the facts only show us that this is a normal, uncontroversial practice. Third, of the various intertestamental literature, the Greek Old Testament version of Daniel includes the hymn of the 3 youths, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. This hymn was circulating already within the 100s BC, and within the hymn you see various requests to spiritual beings to join together with the 3 youths in worship of God. Among other things, the hymn invokes the angels, the spiritual powers, spiritual beings like the sea monsters, as well as the spirits and souls of the righteous. The 3 youths pray they worship the Lord together and urge these spiritual beings, praying that they sing to the Lord along with them. The hymn of these 3 youths seems to be patterned after liturgical temple hymns like Psalm 148, which we will get to shortly here. Fourth, when we look at the Bible, in particular in Job, the Psalms, the Gospel according to St. Matthew, and 1 Timothy, we see very casual references to praying to saints and invoking spiritual beings, and we'll start here with Job. The book of Job is replete with references to saintly mediation and invocation. In chapter 5, we see Eliphaz mocking Job, basically saying that he's so miserable, he could try calling out to one of the holy ones, but no one would respond. In chapter 16, Job himself mentions that he has an intercessor in heaven, and in chapter 33, Elihu refers to angelic mediation. Scholars also have agreed on these interpretations, and we can get into that if we have to. Psalms 103.
The interesting part of Job is I think it's a very misunderstood book. I'm not gonna tell you I'm not gonna like explain it in a sense because I don't know. But every time I hear it, it seems to me that the idea, I'm gonna give a small interpretation, it's not authoritative, go to it, please. It seems to me that the idea of Job is just, even if you do everything correct, that doesn't mean that you will be free of hardship and of hardship in your life. And it's an important book because it showcases that specifically. Okay, and it tells you where the virtues come from and who is God in a sense, and why is it that whatever he says at the end of the day is the justified thing.
3 and 148 have the chanters asking the saintly spiritual beings to join them in worship, praying that they join together in worshiping.
Yes, this is the debate with JP. Good to see you, Blood. Welcome.
The Most High God. It's important too that the psalmist in 148 mentions the rest of creation as well. Invoking all of creation demonstrates that you can interact with the saints in heaven the same way that you can interact with any other aspect of creation. Matthew 27 is, I want to park a little bit on this one. It's one of the most interesting passages that I have here. Our Lord is hanging on the cross, suffering execution for the false charge of blasphemy. As he's reciting Psalm 22, the crowds mistakenly believe that he's praying to Elijah, and we should ponder that for a moment here. Why on heaven or on earth would the crowds assume such a thing, unless praying to Elijah is already a well-known practice at the time? Because they're all familiar with, guess what? They're all familiar with First Enoch, they're all familiar with the hymn of the 3 youths, and they're all familiar with the Jewish tradition of going to cemeteries and seeking the prayers of the Jews buried there, as we already discussed. Moreover, consider that the charges brought against Christ include blasphemy. So if praying to someone other than God was seen as wrong or seen as an improper form of honor to a being other than God, wouldn't the crowds...
Yeah, hey, Seth, I don't know what's going on. What characteristics? Give examples.
mention that? They don't. They say, let's see if Elijah comes to save him. If the crowd saw this as wrong, it makes much more sense that they would say, look, there's more evidence that he's a blasphemer. He's praying to Elijah. He's praying to someone other than God. But they don't do this. They're not shocked by this at all, because this is normal. Everybody did this. The last biblical reference I want to mention for my case in chief here is St. Paul in his first letter to Timothy. In chapter 5, St. Paul charges Timothy with the bishopric and deputizes him in the presence of God and of Christ Jesus and of his elect angels. Wow. This obviously implies that the elect angels have some role as a witness to this grant of authority St. Paul passes on to Timothy. It is again prayer and invocation to the holy ones of God. So as we've seen throughout the Bible, in particular Job, Psalms, Matthew, and 1 Timothy, we see invocation of God's holy ones mentioned casually without a second thought. This lines up perfectly with what you see throughout the Jewish traditions, 1st Enoch, and the Hymn of the Three Youths, but there's still more. We see pre-Nicene saintly invocations in early Christian literature and liturgics across geographic areas, and I'm going to point out 3 here. Saint Hippolytus of Rome in Italy wrote his commentary on Daniel in the early 200s AD. Saint Hippolytus includes an invocation of the 3 youths Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, specifically saying, I entreat you, meaning that he's asking them earnestly for their intercession. Moreover, his prayer was answered. Saint Hippolytus gloriously endured martyrdom just a few decades later. Next.
Wasn't JP completely destroyed on one of these ones? Elder, if you can send me that video, it would be great, because I really enjoyed watching that.
The Passion of Saints Perpetua and Felicity is composed by Saint Perpetua's journal entries and eyewitness accounts from the early 200s AD in Carthage, Africa. Saint Perpetua wrote that she was granted a vision of the life to come following her martyrdom. In the vision, Saint Perpetua has departed the material world, and her soul enters paradise. From paradise, she sees her bishop and her presbyter back in the material world, praying to her, seeking her intercession, so they can have reconciliation. Again, nothing in the text suggests that this is improper. In fact, the text treats this as a good thing. Now, as for pre-Nicene liturgics, I'd like to mention the Oxyrhynchus Papyrus and the Rylands Papyrus 470. The Rylands Papyrus is better known as the Subtuum Presidium, which is a liturgical prayer to the Mother of God dated to the mid-200s AD. The prayer very obviously seeks the intercession of the Theotokos. The Oxyrhynchus Papyrus, like Psalm 103 and 140,
Beneath your compassion we take refuge, Theotokos, our petitions do not despise in time of trouble, but from dangers ransom us, O Holy One blessed.
requests the participation of God's holy ones in worship. This is similar also to the cherubimic hymn in the Divine Liturgy of St. John Chrysostom that Orthodox Christians celebrate today. Dr. Charles Cosgrove of Garrett Evangelical Theological Seminary, in his analysis of the Oxyrhynchus Papyrus, states that in the hymn, angelic powers are called upon to respond to this praise with amens and a doxology, and even compares it to a summons, like a court summons. This is very strong language, clearly stronger than what we see in St. Hippolytus, who uses language like, I entreat you, towards
I blamed woman. Calm down, blood.
The 3 youths. So in St. Hippolytus, the Passion of St. Perpetua, and early liturgical hymns, we see pre-Nicene prayers to the saints across the civilized world in Rome, Carthage, and Egypt, all in the 200s AD. And moving on, there's some interesting archaeology I'd like to briefly touch on before I close out here. First, the Frankfurt silver inscription is an amulet invoking our Lord Jesus, as well as St. Titus. Also dated to the 200s AD, this shows invocation of saints as far as Germany. The catacombs in Rome, too, which were sealed in the early to mid-300s AD, have hundreds of preserved graffiti from the mid to late 200s, praying to Saints Peter and Paul and others. Professor Danilo Mazzoleni of the Pontifical Institute of Christian Archaeology in Italy says that these graffiti were left by pilgrims from all over the civilized world, and some of these inscriptions, guess what? They were composed of Germanic runes. You have pilgrims from Germany even coming here and leaving their prayers to Peter and Paul. So in sum, Jewish tradition, Second Temple literature, intertestamental literature, the Bible, early church literature and liturgics, and archaeology, all of them support my position and attest to the fact that this is an ancient, widespread holy tradition of God's people. Throughout the pre-Nicene Christian world, we see prayers to God's holy ones as a normal, uncontroversial practice. It's present in at least Judea, Egypt, Carthage, Italy, Germany, Ethiopia, all in the pre-Nicene period. No one is complaining about this practice. No one is saying that you should not do this practice. Now, in light of that, this brings me to my challenge to JP.
If it was such a big deal, by the way, by the early church, it would have been actually addressed in one of the councils, or it would have been addressed during the first big controversies of the church, like the Gnostic heresy. And the fact that it wasn't, it just showcased that it was never improper.
Show me someone. Show me.
That makes perfect sense to me. Why wouldn't it be? Like there were actual controversies in the early church that were addressed more than once.
One authoritative decision saying that you should not ask God's holy ones for things. Everyone did it. It's everywhere that Christianity spread at generally the same time that Christianity got there. The evidence for this is so overwhelming and ubiquitous. I do not think that JP can overcome this burden. Just show me one authoritative decision, JP. Just one. Thank you for your time and attention, everybody. And thanks, MDD, for having me on again. God bless. I see the rest of my time.
All right. Thank you for that.
I'm here.
I wonder what the argument of JP is going to be. I never actually, I heard a couple of arguments against it. It's mostly like, oh, it's God alone. But I'm not entirely sure.
Modern Day Debate. I'm your host, Dr. James Coons. We are a fully neutral platform hosting debate.
Okay, Dr. James Coons.
On science, religion, and politics. We hope you feel welcome no matter what walk of life you're from. Also, if you did not know, DebateCon 8, as you can see at the bottom right of the screen, is happening this summer. It's in July. It's going to be our biggest conference yet. I'm telling you, Andrew Wilson and Dinesh D'Souza will collide for the main event. It is 2 days packed full of debates. Check out the tickets link in the description box. It's coming fast. This is July 25th, July 26th in Dallas. Get your tickets now. We expect them to sell out. With that, we're going to kick it over to JP. The floor is all yours for your opening. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Let me just put this in presentation mode. And once I do that, we can share the screen. Just give me a second here.
God, I hate some. Can somebody just take his cap and hit him with it? Just take the cap and start hitting him with it? No! Stop selling bullshit! Come on. Get ready for ChatGPT slides and appealing to heretics? Okay.
View mode, slideshow. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. There we go. Got it. All right. Cool. Now let me share my screen.
Ready.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So can you see that? Okay. So let me put it in presentation mode here. Let's see here. View mode. There we go. All right. Cool. All right. So you can see that, brother? All right. Perfectly. All right. Cool. All right. So, let me put my my timer here so that I don't go over time. You know, I don't do debates like this typically, but hey, we're here. Okay, so my time is there. Okay, perfect. The central question of this debate is very simple, my friends. Is the invocation and intercession of departed saints of apostolic origin and clearly established in the early pre-Nicene church? Is it of apostolic origin? Was it clearly established? Is there evidence from the pre-Nicene church? So let's carry on. Okay. Was this, let me see if I can push you up here because the Zoom thing is showing. So there we go. There we go. All right. Was it taught as a normative practice? Taught by authoritative leaders, accepted and practiced by the wider church, part of the ordinary Christian life, viewed as the normal standard practice for all believers. Now notice.
How's he gonna get that? How is he gonna get that? I don't. That's. I don't know. This is a. I don't know if it's chat. I'm gonna tell you this. This is a bad slide. Okay? There's too much fucking information on the screen. This looks like what is it called? When you fold it and you open it and it has like all the information from a trip. That's what it looks like. It's not great.
There's no New Testament command or example of invoking departed saints. No apostolic fathers teach or command Christians to invoke departed saints. No widespread practice across the pre-Nicene church regarding a saint on earth invoking a saint in heaven. Okay. Let's carry on here. Okay. So
pamphlet,
now,
yes.
I want to make clear what is a dogma in the.
Exactly. It looks like a pamphlet. It's a bad. Yeah, it's not great.
EO Church. This is going to be very important. A dogma in the EO Church is a divinely revealed truth taught by the apostles, defined by the church, binding on all the faithful, essential for communion, and of course, a salvific doctrine. So again, the question is it an apostolic tradition handed down by the apostles? This is a dogma and a salvific doctrine. We should be able to see somebody somewhere saying that this practice is something to be done. Now, again, we can see the arguments at hand where they would say, hey, there's some sort of traces there, things of that sort, but that doesn't work for the Eastern Orthodox Church position because, again, according to the Eastern Orthodox Church, they don't believe in doctrinal development like the Catholic Church does.
Yes, saints, before there was a church to canonize them as saints. There's also like a different, I think there's, it still takes times after someone dies to get canonized, so it would still get I don't know. Interesting.
The Catholic Church will grant, hey, we develop doctrines. We believe that the Holy Catholic Church has the ability to do that. Whereas in the EO Church, they say that this doctrine was taught by the apostles and passed down, and it is believed now how it was exactly believed back then. So Alex is going to have to.
But then again, I still have the problem that if it was a controversy in the early church, it would have been addressed by the early church. Not the canon, well, just the canons, but also like the big controversies that we see in the church in the early centuries, like the Gnostics, they were addressed. So I don't understand. This is a problem that I'm having right now. It's kind of a revelation I got in my head. It's like, if this was done in the past and it has been done since forever and it never was a controversy, why would we think that it's now a controversy? This is why church tradition is important.
Demonstrate how the apostles believed this doctrine, how this doctrine was passed down, and the mystery of how people didn't speak of this doctrine for 3 centuries until we get to the 4th.
Oh.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Now, we have apostolic fathers here. You guys can see on the screen, we have Clement of Rome, Ignatius of Antioch, Polycarp, and none of these apostolic fathers explicitly taught that the invocation of departed saints. None of them taught it. None instructed Christians to pray to saints in heaven. None presented saint invocation as an established apostolic practice. This is very important.
This is also a problem that I have with, and this is why I think it's important that you have tradition, is that for example, in scripture directly, it doesn't tell you exactly how you should conduct a liturgy, right? There's like a lot of information that wasn't recorded directly in the scripture, that I was just passed down by the members of the church. So I don't think there is, like, you may have later on, but I don't even know if there's like a super early church on how to marry people.
Because we have tradition that links Polycarp to the Apostle John. Polycarp, going through tribulation, never said, pray to a saint in heaven in my behalf. They all prayed to God. So all of these saints that you see here, they all directed their prayers to God. We don't have any saint anywhere from the Apostolic Church era that ever prayed to a saint in heaven for the sake of a prayer being requested to God. Now, regarding, and I don't want to respond to the brother's presentation because the rules are not to do that. You're going to present your own thing. But I want to make an emphasis here. This was already here, and this was part of my presentation. We do have 2 early church fathers. Granted, some people don't accept Origen as such, but we do have St. Irenaeus and we do have Origen, who said it is improper to pray to the beings themselves that offer the prayers to God, but we are to pray to God himself. And St. Irenaeus made it very clear. He said that the church doesn't perform anything by angelic invocations, but you do so by directing your prayers to the Lord. So St. Irenaeus said this very clearly. Here we have 2 fathers. Granted, a lot of people say Origen was condemned as a heretic. We get all that, but Origen lived in the time period, and it was very clear that Origen believed, and St. Irenaeus believed, that all prayers are to be directed to God, not to angelic beings.
What? Why are we... What? Why would he mention a heretic? If he was called a heretic, why would you mention him? What are we talking about? Okay, JP.
And this is Origen again, another Origen quote where he said, for every prayer, supplication, and intercession and thanksgiving is to be sent up to the supreme God through the high priest. So that's another quote there. Now, I have here today...
Through the high priest? I was talking... That's a mention to Jesus? Probably. This is for the teenies, bro. You know, we're gonna have to go ahead and do that again, okay? We're gonna have to play business church.
For you guys, the timeline of evidence. We have the apostolic era, Peter, Paul, John, James, they never mentioned this doctrine. We have the apostolic fathers, Clement of Rome, Ignatius of Antioch, Polycarp, Hermas, they never mention it. Then we go to the early pre-Nicene fathers, Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, Tertullian, Origen, they never mention it.
Okay.
And then when we get to the latter part of the 3rd century, if I'm going to be charitable and even grant that to Alex, what we have is catacomb encryptions, none from any church fathers. So now let's go. And that's to mid to the latter part. And that in and of itself would prove that this was an established practice in the apostolic era, the apostolic fathers or the pre-Nicene, because if it appears in the latter part towards the end of the part, and you don't have any evidence that it was there before, and of course, these encryptions are debated on what time period they were in. Some people argue that these encryptions were in the 4th century. We have Catholic scholars that do that. Of course, you have a range, but the debate whether it's early 3rd century, mid, and 4th is still out there. How much time do we have? Okay, we're good on time. All right. All right, so we're here. All right. Now, where are the sources? Okay, and that's very important. We already went there. The strongest evidence is the Roman catacomb encryptions. And I'm going to ask Alex about that because, again, we have this. Again, it's not an apostolic.
Peter and Paul, remember us. Peter and Paul, pray for us. Interesting that they would say that.
Origin, not a universal practice. What these guys have is particular singular writings, and they try to make doctrines out of this. We don't even know who wrote this. Peter and Paul remember us. Again, tombstones, people have passed. We understand that people do that and things of that sort. But again, the question remains, is it of apostolic origin? Was it universally practiced? Was it established by the pre-Nicene church? And it was not. What we have is mid to late 3rd century. Let's scroll down here. Again, I mentioned this earlier, but the dating for a lot of these manuscripts and a lot of these encryptions is debated. Some people have it early 3rd, mid 3rd, and you have it 4th. And scholars would agree on that. Early 3rd could be 4th. And so to make a doctrine out of this, when in reality,
manuscripts are dated mid-late 3rd century or late 3rd, early 4th. What? Knowledge that exact dating cannot be known with her. I know, but why wouldn't? Okay.
This is late 3rd, possibly.
Christian traditions and history recognize that navigating life with significant okay.
Early 4th.
Don't care about that.
How can you make a doctrine out of something like this? This does not establish.
Why are we still debating the blindness? It doesn't make you more virtuous. Whatever.
It was in the 1st century, 2nd century, and definitely you cannot establish that this was of apostolic origin. Now, again, this is an argument whether it was particularly in Rome, was this something that was widespread all around? I would make an argument there, but I understand that Rome was the main center. But there is an argument there because the catacombs is something that individuals really string this doctrine on and try to make the catacombs more than what they are, when in reality they're graffitis. You don't make doctrines off of graffiti. And if you're going to say that that graffiti proves intercession was a...
If they're making graffiti in the middle of, in the middle of Rome when it comes to the catacombs, and you have it in there, and there's a lot of graffiti, and it becomes an issue within the church, it would have been actually addressed by the church. If the church was against it, it would have been addressed by the church. The fact that it wasn't, it was sustained and kept and protected, makes me, it works against his argument. But okay, I guess.
Doctrine that was clearly established in the apostolic age, you're going to have problems because, again, this doctrine is argued, or this particular these particular encryptions are argued to have possibly been in the 4th century. So you have a range, and so now you're making a doctrine based off something that could be early in the 4th, and that's no longer of apostolic era. Okay. So now we have the Hippolytus argument. In Isaiah chapter 14, we have an example of the author directly speaking to the devil. Now, was he clearly speaking to the devil, or was he speaking poetically? Where he says, "Oh, you morning star, have you been casted out of heaven?" and all of these things that it adds. Could we argue and say that he was praying to the devil? No. Sirach uses this typical language as well, where it addresses Elijah and things of that sort. And we're not going to say that every time the word "you" is used, that means that you're praying to that said thing. There's also many issues with Hippolytus that we're going to get into in the cross-examination.
Okay.
But as we can see, David would be praying to mountains. And we notice that many of the arguments that people use is, oh, well, David said, "Oh, you holy angels." But he said, "Oh, you mountains, oh, you rivers, oh, you fish, oh, you birds." He made that very clear. Now, Second Temple Judaism. Now, I've been studying this. And the reason I've been studying this is because I figured it would come up. The book of Tobit does not have anybody praying to any angel. What we have is an angel presenting prayers to the Lord, but the angel was already on this realm. Nobody prayed to the angel directly. The angel was in this realm. 1 Enoch chapter 9, which was mentioned, is very interesting because Alex stated, as a matter of fact, that this proves that they were praying to the saints in heaven, when in reality, if you read the full chapter 9, the individuals that were seeking intercession for the angels or were pleading to the angels were already in Sheol because they were slaughtered. This is in the context of 1 Enoch chapter 9, which I knew he would bring up. 1 Enoch as well, if we also read other chapters in Enoch, we understand that Enoch was in a place of angels, but we understand that per the context of the chapter, the individual at hand, I'm not going to bother even mentioning his name, he went to Enoch physically, and Enoch found him, and they had a face-to-face conversation. He didn't get on his knees and pray to Enoch. He went there physically, and they had a physical conversation.
Why not?
2 Maccabees chapter 15. My Catholic brothers love to mention this. And again, we give some credit to the Catholics because they believe in doctrinal development. They don't run into these issues. We got to be honest. But there was a vision of Jeremiah praying for Onias. And in this vision,
What? How can you believe in doctrinal development? That makes no sense. This is why I don't like the Romans. Like, that there can be revelation, but that doesn't... whatever.
One prayed to Jeremiah directly. Jeremiah was praying for Israel. So we understand that there's a pattern where saints in heaven might pray for us. But the question at hand is the doctrine of invocation from people in this realm to people in heaven. And the Testament of Levi, I was assuming that it could have came up, maybe it will, but beating to the chase, very interesting here, because again, you have examples of people in heaven praying for people on earth. Okay. Now, Tenet 16a and Soda 34b. This is going to be very interesting because Hina Bar Hama and Rabbi Hanina Ben-Dosa are two rabbis that are often confused. Now, I read all of Rabbi Hina Ben-Dosa's writings, and Rabbi Hanina Ben-Dosa never said in the 1st century that you can pray to a saint in heaven. And what people have to do is say that Ben-Dosa was in the 3rd century somehow, or that Ben-Dosa, let me say this. So Ben-Dosa's lineage of his doctrines passed down to another Rabbi Hanina, and essentially that Rabbi Hanina was through some sort of apostolic succession saying what Ben-Dosa was saying, but no Jewish historian would say that. They would say that Hanina Bar Hama was the rabbi at hand, not Ben-Dosa. Ben-Dosa was 1st century, and we have some of his writings available, and we have writings that are about him available, and he never said, pray to a saint in heaven. All right, so we also have more Jewish sources here. The Talmud tells us, if a person faces distress, let him not cry out to Michael or to Gabriel. Rather, let him cry out directly to me, and I will answer him immediately. As we can see, the Talmud specifically says you cry out to God directly. And in the Talmud, in Zerah 17a, we have an example of someone who tried doing that, but it didn't work. And then he...
Yes, 3rd century is 200 to 299. 4th century would be 300 to 399.
Said that he repented and he directly prayed before God. This is all in the Talmud. And last but not least, the way of the claims. I have 10 seconds left. Remember, this is a salvific dogma, a salvation issue. A salvific dogma, normative belief that the... my time. All right, well, thank you. This was fun.
I mean, I have no objections if you just want to like finish your thought, if you want to give him an extra minute or something, James.
Yeah, so this is a normative, dogmatic, salvific doctrine. So if there's no early church fathers that believed this or taught this in any capacity, we're in serious trouble. That's all. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you very much for that opening as well. We're going to have rebuttals tonight, folks. But before we get into those rebuttals of 7 minutes each, I've got to tell you, as I mentioned,
I don't know what exactly they use, so I'm not gonna actually comment on that. But I'm not happy with I don't think it's a good idea. Oh my god, this is so annoying. This should be fine. It is kind of annoying that we are seeing the IOTS yachts instead of just having, intercession of the saints somewhere on the screen and then a pro and against. one. That's fine.
BaitCon 8 this July in Dallas. Now, we just launched because this is something that someone actually emailed. It was about, I think it was something that I'm fund me just for that I'm putting in. We appreciate your support. It's something.
James, shut up. Let me listen to the fucking debate.
So check out that zing. Thank you for 7 minutes for Alex. The floor is all yours.
Sure.
What the fuck? Why do you do that? Am I? What? He went on to cry to Mueller. Oh, Mueller. I didn't allow me to have my friend here. Mueller. Hold me, Mueller. That was opening the statement, Mueller.
So, unfortunately.
By the way, don't do that, okay? If you are going to get a cross-examination or a reply or something, stay. Listen.
Personally, I don't think I have like that much to respond to from JP. He had 2 pieces of positive evidence that he presented, and I'm looking forward to getting into those. The first one was a quote from
Mueller. Booba Mueller. He was so mean to me. The opening a statement. Oh.
Saint Irenaeus, who not sure how he believes that Saint Irenaeus would
She said there, century fucked.
help him, but here we can get into that. Let me just pull that up one moment so that we can all look at this text.
What is this? I don't know. They use Zoom. It's fine.
Together.
It's kind of interesting that the only debate that I have in MEDD is against Grace Thorpe. And I was like, I wear full on. I wear like a shirt and my tie, and I was like very prepared for it. And she had to go change. She said that she had to go change because she. I thought it was funny.
Yes.
A 3rd century fox is a 4th century ox? Huh? Huh?
Yes. Sorry, one moment to pull this up on New Advent.
Huh?
Basically, the quote that JP pulled up from Saint.
Hey, Nate. I don't know if you talked to. I wasn't there when your mom opened it up. It was very nice meeting her, by the way. Good morning. But I don't know exactly what she thought of the night. I hope she liked it. I am right now working on the second one, little by little. I have part of the base done, and I have the night partially done. I'm gonna be working on it pretty soon, probably this weekend.
Irenaeus is in the context of magic.
I mean, what time is our debate tomorrow? It should be 9 o'clock. 8 o'clock. It's 8 p.m. Mountain time. So we should be there by 7:50. Yeah, democracy does not work. We are in the affirmative. Oh, okay.
Spells and the errors that the
for some reason I thought we were in the negative. Do we have a shared? You know, I'll ask this. That's a good question. I don't know how this tributary works, but it's fine.
Gnostics were committing at that time. I was anticipating that he would probably bring that up.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
So one moment here.
Yeah, your mom was super kind. She was super. She was really nice. I had to. I couldn't get a ride, so I went with my bike. I took my bicycle and I went to her. She was very nice. Yeah, everyone's streaming at the same time tomorrow. We all are. I'll message you when I get up. Yeah.
Actually, I'll address the origin quote first. How about that? So while you can go ahead and quote mine as much as you want, on prayer, origin of Alexander.
It's tanking. It's the stonks going up. That's cool. Okay, you're doing this one right now. Okay, get your stonks. This is not financial advice. Get your stonks.
Andrea says, now supplication and plea and thanksgiving may be offered to people without impropriety. Two of them, namely pleading and thanksgiving, might be offered not only to saints, but to people alone in general, whereas supplication should be offered to saints alone, should there be found a Paul or a Peter who may benefit us and make us worthy to attain authority for the forgiveness of sins. So this is part of the danger of like quote mining instead of trying to get a holistic view of, you know, what somebody actually believes, especially when we're talking about patristic.
True, when it comes to the holistic idea, this is what is all of it.
There's another objection that JP brought up that I also want to address here.
Thank you very much to Hollow Nate for insanely huge $5. I took another pre-trip nap to be able to catch the debate, assuming I have a signal when I park. I hope so. That'll be pretty cool.
So I have here a paper from a Jewish scholar, Meir Bar Ilan. Prayers of Jews.
To be fair, tomorrow debate is gonna be like I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna be contributing, but and I'm gonna probably be very active in the way. But I will say that I think both Abe and Stillborn are pretty good on its own right. So it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a good, easy kind of ish debate. Just need to be sure that our logical statements and ideas match, and that's fine. The one I'm actually more looking forward is the Witchy Bitchy debate. That's gonna be a awesome little weird debate, and I hope I get it right.
To angels and other intermediaries during the first centuries of the Common Era. And JP's objection was along the lines of, oh, well, they're praying to angels, fine, but if you're going to use that standard, then they're also going to be praying to, you know, the mountains and the hills and stuff. They are. They are praying to the mountains and the hills. Not.
How many times do we have to go over these, Emmy? Send a huge, enormous super chat. Oh, okay, fine, I'll try. Thank you, Hello Nate, for the insanely ginormous super chat. And send a huge, ginormous super chat of $5. I took another pre-trip nap to be able to catch the debate, assuming I have signal when I park. Okay. Starlight doesn't work in. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, to be fair, prods were worried about holistic views of scripture debut. Dusty's here? I didn't know that. Did I get wrong?
Exactly to them. There are patron angels and patron saints over all of these things, right?
What chance is your debate? I will be streaming it, but the debate is on horseradishes. So it's don't worry about it. Just watch it here. I believe that Abe is probably gonna be debating streaming it too. Yeah.
So for example, if I just do a quick word search here. So here he goes through some Babylonian Talmud prayers. It says, we stand in need of prayer ourselves. So he exclaimed, heaven and earth, plead ye for mercy for me. Heaven and earth, plead ye for mercy. Sun and moon, plead ye for mercy for me. Stars and constellations, said he. The matter then depends on me alone. Having placed his head between his knees, he wept aloud until his soul departed, right? So here we have an explanation. He's turning to the heaven and earth, to the sun and moon, perceiving the celestial bodies as if they were angels mediating between him and the Lord. This is well established with many scholars on this topic. For example, you have a Jewish scholar here with Meir Bar Ilan. You have, at the same time, also evangelical scholar, Dr. Michael Heiser, who says the exact same thing, that these references to nature, to mountains, to the sun and moon, these are referring to angels. These are not referring to the actual celestial bodies themselves. These ancient people had a holistic, cosmic worldview. So again, JP is just, that objection just really misunderstands and he's not really putting himself in the shoes of an ancient person. Okay, here's the Saint Irenaeus quote that I wanted to address earlier. Share this one. So it's from Against Heresies, Book 2, Chapter 32. And look at all the stuff that he has to skip to get to his quote mine. He has to skip all this stuff. He has to go all the way down here. Nor does she perform anything by angelic invocations, referring to the church, nor does she perform anything by means of angelic invocations, or by incantations, or by any other wicked, curious art, but directing her prayers to the Lord, who made all things in a pure, sincere, and straightforward spirit, calling upon the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Well, okay. Well, what is he talking about in this chapter? If you go up, like, we can just go with, like, section 2 here. They further maintain that it is talking about the Gnostics, that it is incumbent on them to have experience of every kind of work and conduct, so that if it be possible, accomplishing all during one manifestation in this life, they may pass over to the state of perfection. They are by no chance found striving to do those things which wait upon virtue and are laborious, glorious, and skillful, which are approved universally as being good. And then he goes through like the arts, and eventually like being destitute of virtues, abominable actions like lust, voluptuousness, every kind of work, like the cynics, and committing themselves to like evil deeds and wicked thoughts. And you can see
the indifference of the cynics. Well, elder. Nah, just kid. I was just a kid.
That like throughout this entire chapter, Saint Irenaeus is just differentiating Christian practice. He's not contradicting Hippolytus. He's not contradicting the Passion of Saint Perpetua. They are all saying the same thing. They are against people like Simon the Magician here, that I have highlighted on the screen right now, if you take a look. And you guys can like pause and read through it, or you guys can go on New Advent for yourselves and read this. It's talking about the wicked and blasphemous doctrines of heretics. This is not about asking God's holy ones for something, or asking them to worship along with you in the liturgy, or asking them to sing a song along with you. That's not what Saint Irenaeus is talking about. He's talking about invocation for magic. Says they assert that they possess souls that are from the same sphere as Jesus, that they are like to him, sometimes even maintaining that they are superior to Jesus. This is what Saint Irenaeus is talking about. He's not talking about asking an angel or asking a departed saint to pray for you or to worship alongside you in a hymn or in a liturgy. That's utterly ridiculous. So those are the two main positive points that JP posited. Otherwise, he has only an argument from silence.
Ooh.
And I'll let you go slightly over there. So I will give you a bit of extra time, JP, to match it. JP, the floor is all yours for your 7 minutes.
Let me start my time here.
Okay.
All right.
And
Give me
if you haven't yet, folks, hit that like button. We do appreciate your support. With that, JP, the floor is all yours for 7 minutes.
Yes, very good. So I want to emphasize this is not an argument from silence. It's an argument from missing expected evidence. There is evidence that it is expected to be there if you're going to say this is a normative, apostolic, salvific doctrine, and it doesn't exist. And so I want to bring up a passage. That's going to be Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 1. Then the Lord said to me, even if Moses and Samuel were to stand before...
Thank you very much. No, wait. Not the correct one. They said, thank you very much for the insanely huge, enormous $5 super chat to Hollow Nate. It says insanely huge, enormous 5 super chat practice. So thank you. Yeah, you're basically committing a felony if you pay me 10k for my grift course. I'm not paying you 10k. I don't have that kind of money anyway.
My heart would not go out for this to this people. When Origen said, and even if Paul and Peter, he wasn't speaking literally. He was quoting the Bible because God speaks that way. He's not saying literally Paul and Peter were going to pop up. See, an interesting thing is that I actually did 2 videos on that particular quote. And if you read the full quote, when he uses the word, the particular words intercession, thanksgiving, and things of that sort, thanksgiving and the words aren't always used as prayers to the saints up there. In fact, I would argue and say that it's contextual. Because if you read the rest of the letter that Origen spoke about, which Alex brought up, he says, bless and give thanksgiving to the law. He says this to people that are alive here. So the question at hand is, we go through the context to see what's a prayer and what's not. Regarding Paul, we see in Jeremiah 15:1 that it's not speaking literally. Now, regarding Irenaeus, St. Irenaeus, yes, St. Irenaeus said in his letter, he said very clearly in his letter that there are other things going on with Gnostics. We understand that. But St. Irenaeus never gave a stipulation to which you can pray to angels. He simply said you don't do it and that the church doesn't do it. Therefore, the rest of the letter saying, hey, this is addressed to whatever, it'd almost be like if I wrote and I said, hey, we don't pray to Satan. And then you would go, okay, very good. But what's the context of who JP was telling not to pray to Satan to? That would be to the Satanists, just to give you an example, Gnostics, whatever the case. You don't then go, well, the context of that is the Gnostics.
What's he talking about? I'm gonna go back because I think I missed something. What?
Irenaeus never gave a stipulation to which you can pray to angels. He simply said you don't do it and that the church doesn't do it. Therefore, the rest of the letter saying, hey, this is addressed to whatever, it'd almost be like if I wrote and I said, hey, we don't pray to Satan. And then you would go, okay, very good. But what's the context of who JP was telling not to pray to Satan to? That would be to the Satanists, just to give you an example, Gnostics, whatever the case. You don't then go, well, the context of that is the Gnostics. No, we don't pray to Satan. The church prays to Jesus. And so just giving you an example, and that's what St. Irenaeus said, that the church directs its prayers to God. He made a factual statement. Despite who he was addressing it to, it was a factual statement. And when we get to Origen, I would love to get there, because when you read Origen contextually, when he uses those words interchangeably, you have to see what he means.
I'm hereticing for the dinner bell. Okay. You know what? We're gonna finish the opening statements and the cross exams real quick. This is not even a cross examination, by the way. Just a response, and then we'll do a little bit of hereticing for the dinner bell.
For example, when he says bless the angels, right? He doesn't mean that he's praying to them, because all through the Bible we bless things, yet we're not praying to them. And so when we get to Origen, which is pretty ironic because Cleave to Antiquity agreed with me before he became an EO, and he said my arguments for Origen were excellent. I wonder if he feels the same way now. But with that said, we got 4 more minutes. I'm supposed to cross. So because I anticipated all of his arguments, and all of his arguments were already on my slide, I'm going to double down. The Tanakh was...
I'm going to double down.
Excuse me, the Talmud does not teach you can pray to people in heaven. In fact, it says the opposite. It says that you are to direct your prayers to God. And there was the particular person in the Talmud who was directing it to mountains, and he was wrong, and he repented and directed it to God. And we have that available as well. And of course, if you're going to mention Rabbi Hanina Bendosa, and of course we have Rabbi Hanina Bar Hama, which I've read up on them very, very extensively. Bar Hama is the 3rd century rabbi, and Rabbi Hanina is the 1st century rabbi.
If you read about something and you're gonna go to a debate, just talk about what you read. Don't tell me that you read it, okay? Don't care. Oh my God, you're black and you read one book. That's what I would say if you ever say that to me. Okay.
And Rabbi Hanina has some writings, and a lot of people wrote about Rabbi Hanina of the 1st century, and nobody ever quoted him actually praying to saints in heaven or encouraging anybody to do that. In fact, Rabbi Hanina...
Are the Gnostics more correct? So I don't have to be so nasty about it? They're not more correct.
Bendosa...
You're black! Gnostics say some crazy stuff to feed some of the Abrahamic religions. They do. Is it a culture thing? I don't know what you mean. Black, 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 black.
He would heal people. He was a miracle worker. People would come to him sick. They would touch him and heal. But never did anybody pray to him, and nor did he encourage anybody to pray to him.
No, you would. It's not praying to him. You would ask, in the literal sense of what Alex Sorin was saying, if you were asked to pray for... If I were to ask, you know, someone that I believe it's very saintly, let's say Saint Peter. If Saint Peter was still alive and I were gone to him and I will say, hey, can you pray for me? Okay, I'm asking him for a prayer, which is what people do when it comes to him right now. It's like, you know, it goes Saint Peter, and it's like, hey, Saint Peter, could you please pray for me? That's the idea. That's why you do it.
See in heaven. I also want to address his Job passage, and I'd love for him to show me anybody in the Bible praying to the holy ones. I want to be very clear that the friend that told Job to do that was not one of Job's good friends. And so did Job actually listen? No, he did not, because we
The necromancy. What? Yeah, he is alive. That's the point of it, is they're still alive.
have no documentation of Job praying to anybody in heaven, especially after his friend told him to do so. And he mentioned that Jesus was getting crucified and they thought he was calling out to Elijah. Well, I can respond and say to that, due to the fact that they were mocking him, I'm not going to say that they believe that, because in the book of James, when it says that the prayers of a righteous man avails much, when you read the book of James, I feel the Pentecostal spirit. When you read the book of James, what do we see? We see Elijah mentioned, but the book of James doesn't say pray to Elijah. The book of James says you pray to God and you go to your elders here on this earth so that the elders here on the earth can pray for you. It doesn't say go to Elijah. What a perfect opportunity to say, hey, lift up your prayers to Elijah so he can heal you. He was righteous. The book of James doesn't say that. In fact, the book of James says that you ask your elders and they will anoint you with oil and they will pray for you. It doesn't say that you go to Elijah. Therefore, when we go to Matthew, they were doing that to mock Jesus. And when we go to James, they never believed that because they asked their elders for prayers. They didn't ask Elijah. And I have another 50 seconds left, and I want to make this very clear. None of his
Please watch Alex phrase for 130 seconds. Let's see here.
doesn't say pray to Elijah. The book of James says you pray to God and you go to your elders here on this earth so that the elders here on the earth can pray for you. It doesn't say go to Elijah. What a perfect opportunity to say, hey, lift up your prayers to Elijah so he can heal you. He was righteous. The book of James doesn't say that. In fact, the book of James says that you ask your elders and they will anoint you with oil and they will pray for you. It doesn't say that you go to Elijah. Therefore, when we go to Matthew,
30 more seconds. How many times do I have to do this? What was he saying? What was he saying?
passage, and I'd love for him to show me anybody in the Bible praying to the holy ones. I want to be very clear that the friend that told Job to do that was not one of Job's good friends. And so did Job actually
Oh, that thumbnail is amazing. I'm gonna keep this one. It's like the war. That's not how you're supposed to put your hands when you pray, JB. I'm just letting you know. So the Gnostics is like JP referred to rabbinic history to explain the view on books that were declined by a council. Okay. When asking the elders the same as the saints, they kind of are. Yeah, they kind of are.
listen? No, he did not, because we have no documentation of Job praying to anybody in heaven, especially after his friend told him to do so. And he mentioned that Jesus was getting crucified and they thought he was calling out to Elijah. Well, I can respond and say to that, due to the fact that they were mocking him, I'm not going to say that they believe that, because in the book of James, when it says that the prayers of a righteous man avails much, he said he was righteous. The book of James doesn't say that. In fact, and I have another 50 seconds left, and I want to make this very.
I understand why people want to use all of the time in some of the debates. And it's good that you use them, but you have to use them wisely. If you're just repeating yourself, it's not a good. It's not good if you just repeat your fucking self. Okay.
Clear. None of his texts, again, we can go to Enoch, we can go to the Talmud. I've been reading the Talmud so much. Rabbi Hanina and Rabbi Barhama are pretty much my brothers. They're probably burning in hell. They rejected Christ. But
what the fuck? Okay.
Yes, that's what I would say. And they never taught that you compare to a saint in heaven. And even the argument of going to the graveyards, the text doesn't say that they were praying to those people in the graveyards directly. That's up for debate. Rabbis debate that all the time. Because what the rabbis say, I got 8 seconds, is that, well, what they say is that they go there and then the dead bless them. But yeah, all right, that's my 7 minutes. Thank you.
You got it. Folks, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We have many more debates coming up. With that, we're going to go into the cross-examinations. Each of you.
So, what was he right about? That's a good question. No, we finished that. As I said. Oh, should we do nationalism? I don't want to do nationalism. Not right now. No, we're gonna go do business church again. Okay, we gotta do business church as a. Alright, let's go ahead and look at the. Okay, I need to learn. I need to leer. Okay, I really do need to leer. I need to leer and verify if I have the chopsticks. Okay. An incredibly weird fox on the internet says that I need to verify if I have the chopsticks to do a cross-examination. So I better use these incredible people to learn to leer. Okay, leer how to do the cross-examination correctly. Oh, this leering center is gonna be fun.
As you know, we'll have 20 minutes. Sorry,
20
15 minutes. Sorry about that. 15 minutes to cross-examine each other. And one thing I actually do have to clarify: you guys, did you want each 15 minutes, or was it split?
No, I thought it
I
was
would like
7
20
each.
minutes each if we can, but the 15 minutes each is what we agreed to.
Oh, I thought it was 7 minutes each. I don't mind though, but I thought it was I thought it was
All right.
7. But we're good.
That was my mistake. Sorry about that. But
That's all good.
gentlemen, you basically know the drill. It's only asking questions, and then the person answering the questions, it's good to be as short and pithy as possible. If it looks like you're eating up your questioner's time, I have to jump in. With that, starting first, Alex, it's your chance to interrogate JP. Floor is all yours.
Yeah, JP, what does the word pray mean? The English word pray. What does that mean?
Ask. To ask. Brother.
To ask. Okay. So then you pray to people.
Thank you very much for the insanely huge, enormous $5 super chat. The Pope of Byzantium has retired. He fought, he won, he converted and spread the word, and now he rests. Rest in peace, Wiga Bipak Diva, Queen Pope Ortho Bro. Nah, by the way, the king of Byzantium, well, the Pope of Byzantium, or the Emperor of Byzantium, I know people have been saying that he is retiring, but the other day he said he wasn't. So I'm not even sure if he's actually retiring or not. But I hope he just does whatever he wants.
All the time, not just a god, correct?
Yeah, but they're on this realm. They're not in heaven.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted. That's the first step. I get it. Like you pray to your parents, you pray to your siblings, you pray to your friends, correct?
If we're going to use pray in that fashion, which is to ask, I don't have an issue asking people on this realm for favors.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. What does the word saint mean?
Saint, I would say it's a believer in Christ, whether departed or on earth.
Not an angel?
If you want to argue it's an angel, I don't believe that, but for the sake of argument, let's proceed and say yes.
Okay. So you don't think that you can ask angels for things?
If an angel is on this realm, yes. If an angel appears before me, but I'm forbidden to ask an angel in another realm for something.
Where are you forbidden to do that?
The Bible's clear that we pray to God. So every example of communication, so every example of communication with an angel and a human is when the angel is on this realm. For example, the Garden of Eden, the angel.
So in the Psalms, when you don't think that the Psalms are an invitation or a request to angels to join them in worship?
No, because if I read.
What does it say? It's a theos shortcut because they don't rely on physical understanding of the world around them. Ultimately has nothing but trust. That's the pinnacle of faith. They what? Of course they rely on physical understanding of the world around them. They just don't have access to one of their ways of looking at it. He's just not doing apologetics anymore. I think he just doesn't want to do the open spaces. He just doesn't want to do the access spaces. I will think that if it comes to if the case comes and he actually gets one of these people to do a debate, not just talk about him and then say he hasn't come to my space, he might probably do it. I just don't think he wants to like open up his X spaces anymore. He just wants to do other shit with that time.
The full context of those letters, I would have to be consistent, and at least you are consistent. Say that David is praying to the mountains and the fish and the birds, and I don't believe that.
Well, what? I mean, can't you ask your pet to do something? Can't you interact or interface with a pet? Like a dog? Can't you ask a dog to go do something?
Sure, I can ask a dog to do something, yes.
Okay, so you're praying to dogs?
Bro, no, I'm not praying to dogs, brother. I mean, if you're gonna, I'm asking a dog in this.
Word concept fallacies. I love word concept fallacies. These people do a bunch of them. They really enjoy word concept fallacies, to be fair.
Realm.
I mean, I'm just showing how inconsistent you are with your language here. It's like, yes, you can go to your dog and say, "I pray thee, go get me a beer from the fridge." Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm trying to expose that you actually don't believe what you're saying that you do believe. You believe something different.
Let me ask some clarification.
Okay, well, if you have an objection, go. What's your problem with my question?
Some clarification. So my position is that if something is.
Did you see the flip-flop of bullshit? Yeah, of course. Well, I'm not do this, but not do this. Yeah, of course I see it. It's just legitimately tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah, I know he's tired of doing that, but I think he's actually tired of doing the X space. Have you listened to his X spaces lately? His X spaces lately is him saying, "I already said that. There's a video of it. Go read the book, and if you have the thing you want to talk about it, we can talk about it after the read the. You watch the video. It's a 2-hour video. We did it with Doctor. Like, he pretty much gets people because he doesn't get the actual debates that he wants to have because most of the people don't know anything anyway. Okay, so I don't think he wants to do those spaces anymore. I'm sure that if he gets an actual proper debate with any of these people that won't debate him anyway, he will probably do it. It's just he doesn't want to do it. He just doesn't want to. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to do the X spaces anymore. Yeah, it's just that this dumb dude, this dumb dude. Unmute.
Is on
I'm sorry. I'm not interested in you're explaining your position at this time. But can you? So if you can interact with a dog or like beasts of the field, like it says in the Psalms, it also says you can interact with angels. Why can't you interact with angels in the same way that you can interact with other created things?
Because the Psalms don't say you can interact with angels.
They are asking them to praise the Lord.
If we read contextually, I would have to say that David was praying to the mountains, the fish, and the birds, and the Bible's clear.
Yes, and
creatures.
What you just said, you can ask creatures things.
Okay, so Alex, we're gonna play these word games. Let's not throw the debate around.
I asked you to define what pray means.
If we're gonna be playing these games, let's not throw the debate around. What? What is he talking about?
You said ask. I am using your words and your definitions. I'm not playing any word games here. Don't try to play that with me. I will catch you in a second. Okay. I have dealt with like much more hostile, much smarter testimony than you. Okay.
Yes. All right.
So let's talk about the Jewish tradition. Why are you talking about Rabbi Hanina? I already said that he's from the 200s.
Well, I was making sure that you weren't saying that Rabbi Hanina was passing down some sort of oral tradition from Rabbi Hanina of the 1st century.
Okay, so Rabbi Hanina says that one who goes out to the cemetery, in order that the deceased will request mercy on their behalf. Why do they have to go to the cemetery to do that?
So per Jewish tradition, if you go to the cemeteries and you ask for prayers to God, as the Talmud says, the departed saints can then pray for you. But it doesn't say that they pray to them directly. It's not in the text.
So why do they have to go to the cemetery if they're just going there to pray to God?
Because it's their tradition. But that does not prove that apostolically.
I'm not asking what it proves. I'm asking why do they have to go to the cemetery if they're just praying to God?
Yeah, because it was their tradition that if they go to the cemetery and pray to God, that the departed saints who were Jews would bless them.
What?
You didn't know this?
Okay, so
I was reading the Talmud the other day.
So you go to the cemetery to pray to God so that the people who have died that are saints can also pray to God. But why would they need to go to the cemetery? Orthodox has a chant called the blind man's chant. Okay, Seth, you're going to the deep end, dude. Okay.
How come they have to be Jewish?
Because per the Talmud, it says that if you go to a Jewish grave, you receive more of a blessing.
I know. I'm saying why.
Well, let me finish. Because per the Talmud, if you go to a Jewish grave, you receive more of a blessing than if you go to a Gentile grave. It's all the Talmud.
Why? Why would that be the case?
Why? I'm asking why. Because I know what it says. You just repeated what it says. I'm asking why do they say that?
Yes, because the Jews are to be believed to have a higher anointing per the Talmud over the Gentiles.
Okay, so I will share my screen for a moment here. You did not address like the...
Hey, Cypher, good to see you. Oh my god. Thank you very much for the insanely huge, ginormous $20 super chat. By How Long Nate, he says, does JP deny that humans have interacted with angels? Yes, I do believe that he kind of denies it. I could see you, Cypher. Welcome.
I don't know how else to address it.
Is the one that I emphasize the most from the Jewish tradition in the Bereshit Rabbah, which cites to Rabbi Shimon ben Gamaliel, who literally is saying that people, I don't know if you can see it, you should be able to see it on your screen.
Yeah, okay.
He's saying that the reason why that monument is there so that people can go pray to Rachel.
Excellent, excellent. So what this is, because I read it, is an extension to what the Bible says. So if you actually go to that passage and you open up the passage, what they're saying happened in that passage isn't actually there. So I'm not going to
know it's not actually there. I'm saying, what do I make sense with this?
What do you mean? This is a 5th century compilation.
And it's citing a 1st century rabbi.
No. This is a 5th
Rabbi
century...
Gamaliel is a 1st century rabbi.
Okay, wait. This is a 5th century compilation of what a supposed rabbi said in the 1st century about...
Dude, Seth, if the person is blind, and that makes it more virtuous because it's blind, why does it need to cry out in repentance to the Lord? What?
About a text that's not even there.
Okay, what reason do you have to disbelieve the text?
Well, if you open up the text with Rachel in the tombs, because if you actually read the commentary, it gives you the biblical passage of where that's
what
at.
Reason do you have to not believe this, JP?
Because it's not in the text. So why would
I know it's not in the text. Do you so everything that's not in the Bible, you don't believe it?
I'm not going to believe a satanic Talmud that tells me that in the Old Testament there were people praying to Rachel. When you open up the Old Testament,
as a historical, I'm asking you as a historical witness. So everything that's not in the Bible, you don't believe it? Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm telling you is that I reject the Talmud.
Okay, let me ask you this. So
you're going to say when it's
nowhere in the Bible does it say that 2 + 2 = 4. Let's say that there is, hypothetically, let's say that there is a place in the Talmud that says 2 + 2 = 4. Are you not going to believe that 2 + 2 = 4 because it's in the Talmud and not in the Bible?
No, brother, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when you examine
this is an analogous situation.
Let me finish.
So you have.
I'm
not interested in you finishing your answer. Your answer is sufficient.
You have to let me finish.
Your answer is sufficient. I'm not going to let you keep on going to run your time. I get you're shaking in your boots here. I get it.
Can I finish?
So.
Every single day, a physical blind person must navigate the world through a total trust. Every single day, every single person navigates the world through total trust and faith. Okay? You do it all the time. I do it. Every single person does it.
The analogy was, can we freeze the time for a moment? The analogy was, so I said in the Talmud, it says that Jacob put the monument.
Okay, I'm gonna play for just a second. I'll be back. I'm listening, okay?
On Rachel's grave, and that's all that it says in the Bible. In the Talmud, it says that the monument was put there on Rachel's grave so that passersby know that that's her grave so that they can go pray there. So JP is saying, I'm not going to believe the Talmud when it's not in the Bible. So the analogy I made is, if the Talmud says 2 + 2 = 4, nowhere in the Bible does it say 2 + 2 = 4. Are you going to disbelieve that 2 + 2 = 4 because it's in the Talmud and not in the Bible?
James, can I respond to that?
So
Yeah, I need to clarify because he's not letting me finish my. He's not.
His answer to that. His answer to that.
Yeah, so I was
we haven't gotten even to his objection yet.
I was literally. Yeah. Yes. I was mid-sentence and he cut me off. Can I finish my sentence, moderator?
Yeah, bro, like, this is your chance. Go.
Okay,
that's what I just asked you for, is what did he get wrong when he paraphrased you?
Yes. So I was going to finish and say that I examined the evidence, and due to the fact that this is just a baseless claim,
He's not answering your question, James.
This is all right. Let's carry on.
He's just continuing his answer, and I said your answer is sufficient. You said no. Of course, you're not going to accept that if it says 2 + 2 in the Talmud and it doesn't say 2. You're still going to believe 2 + 2 = 4.
No, I said that because I have to examine the evidence, I cannot take this as fact if I go back and it's not there. So by what basis am I going to?
You're
take
not
this as
tracking the
an
analogy,
argument?
dude. You're not tracking the analogy.
I sure do. I sure
So
do.
is there a contradiction between? I guess you can start the time again, James. Is there a contradiction between what it says in the Talmud and what it says in the Bible?
I would say that there's some misinformation because what's stated here is not there in the Bible.
He's asking about a contradiction. This is a debate is about logic. He's asking about. He's asking if there's a contradiction in between those two texts. If you know the text so well, you should be able to point out if there's a contradiction. That's the point of it. Lord, my.
Is there a contradiction?
It depends how you define what a contradiction is. Are you saying that the Bible?
Two things that cannot be both true at the same time.
Yeah.
Is there a contradiction?
I would say it's not a contradiction per se.
Okay, thank you. So then it is possible. I'm not interested in what you're saying. I'm interested in the answer to my question.
So this is what we'll do.
Okay.
No problem.
Oh my God, dude. Okay. So if there's not a contradiction, it's possible that the monument could be there so that passersby could pray to it. Pray to.
This is what I mean when I talk about debates and talk about good arguments. Okay, this is what I mean. I want them like this. I want them like this. Like they're grasping for fucking air, and they're like, oh, I don't know. Okay, that's what I want. When they come to with an argument to a person, I want them to feel that.
Pray to Rachel there, know where her grave is. And also it could be true at the same time that it's not stated in the Bible, correct?
So my response to that is going to be...
This is a yes or no question, JP.
Oh, so now you dictate how I answer as well.
You can give your reasoning. This is a yes or no question. I'm just asking for the courtesy to say yes or no first and then explain.
We can give you, we just want it to be pithy, JP. So if you want to say 1 or 2 sentences, okay, but he's just wanting to make sure you don't go too far.
Yeah. I could give 1 or 2 sentences, absolutely. So is it possible? I would say I would examine the evidence, and the answer to that is no. I don't think that it's possible.
You just said that it's not a contradiction.
I said that I believe this is misinformation.
On what basis?
On the basis that when I open the text, it's not there.
You realize that there's no contradiction. It could be logically possible.
I didn't say it's a contradiction. I said it's misinformation.
On what? You're saying...
Misinformation would say that there's something wrong with the information, so you should be able to provide either a logical one of the 3 laws of logic will be wrong, so it would be illogical, it would not be logically possible, or there would be a reason why it is unsound, and you would have to provide said reason of the unsoundness of it, but you need to be able to say why is it false. This is why Jay Dyer is so mad. Like, oh, dude.
It's misinformation on the basis that it's not in the Bible.
Alex, why should I believe
it? Doesn't have to be in the Bible.
Why should I believe this?
And by the way, one of the best debates that I've ever seen was Jay Dyer versus some dude. Some Catholic dude. And it happened in the weirdest channel ever. What's the name of this fucker? Elijah Schaefer. Awesome debate.
Because there's a reliable historical witness here. It's not a doctrinal question.
Just to be sure, Alex is asking the questions because we're really strict cross-examination. So I have to ask you to refrain from questions, JP.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, you said in 1 Enoch 105 that Enoch was material?
What happened in the story of 1 Enoch 105?
This is a yes or no question. Why do you punt? I have 2 minutes, man. Come on.
Yes.
Okay, so how is he in the realm of the angels and also material at the same time?
Because the guy went to look for him and he spoke to him face to face.
After he called out to him, though, isn't it true that it's after he called out to him that Enoch appeared?
He went to the location wherever Enoch was. He went there and then called out to him, and Enoch came.
It says Enoch is in the realm of the angels. That's immaterial, correct?
Not me.
No, you have to. Oh my goodness. Okay,
no,
next.
I do not,
I think everybody can see how ridiculous your answer was. You're literally just not tracking.
Gotta try to hold you to just questions, Alex.
All right.
That's what the text says.
I get it. Okay, so in Job, where Elihu in Job 33 says that there's an angel beside Job, a mediator out of 1,000. Is that talking about an angel?
Yes.
Okay, so Job has a mediator?
Sure.
An angelic intercessor?
You can say that the angel perhaps delivers information.
I have 1 minute, JP.
Yes.
Job 16 says, this is Job speaking, my intercessor is my friend. As my eyes pour out tears to God, he contends with God on behalf of man, as a man pleads for his friend. When Moses talks to God, when it says that Moses spoke to God face to face, what does the text describe that like in Exodus?
It describes it like he was talking to God face to face.
And it says as a friend, correct?
Sure.
And here in Job 16, he says that his angelic intercessor is as a friend, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. 1 Timothy 5:17 says that this is my last question. I'm probably going to go slightly over just to get the question out. But
on my side, you do have about 2 minutes.
Oh, I didn't pause it when you paused it. All right, thank you. I forgot about that. It says in the presence, St. Paul says to Timothy that to reprove those who continue in sin, so that the rest also will be fearful. And I solemnly charge you in the presence.
Tom Gordon said things is philosophizing. We're philosophizing. We're getting on the virtues now. I'm a blind peeler, to be fair. I believe in the blind peel.
Presence of God and of Christ Jesus and of his elect angels. Is he invoking angels?
No.
So it says in the presence of God. Is he invoking God?
See, Saul, good to see you, brother. Welcome. It's been a while. Hope everything's going well.
No. You can do something in the presence of God. You could do something in the presence of angels and not actually be invoking them.
So if I solemnly charge you in the presence of, let's just use a hypothetical, in the presence of the government of California, am I invoking the government of California?
If you're charging me it depends in the particular scenario. So in that particular scenario, it depends if you invoke them in a particular manner, because within court, you can have witnesses and not within.
Are you invoking the government of California?
Yes, but then within that.
Okay, so but you say that it works there, but when it comes
Mhm.
to God or Christ or the angels, it's not an invocation, correct?
No, because even within the court system, you could have examples where you can declare or charge something and the witnesses are there and they're not specifically being invoked.
Okay, so we have in Judea, you have the Jewish tradition that I would say talks about intercession. First Enoch, I think very clearly, is Methuselah asking Enoch from the angelic realm to appear and ask him a question. In Egypt, you have these papyri that I mentioned, the Subtuum Presidium, the Oxyrhynchus Papyrus, and the Hymn of the Three Youths. In Carthage, I have the Passion of St. Perpetua, which is a document from the 200s, which literally describes a bishop going and asking the parishioner that was under their jurisdiction. I'm leading up to it, okay? So all of these places that I have on this slide here, can you see it?
Yes.
Let's see. Assuming for the sake of argument that these documents that I have attached to them talked about intercession to the saints, wouldn't you concede that that is established practice if it is true that these documents talk about intercession to the saints?
Depends on the dating.
These are all pre-Nicene.
Well, it depends particularly if it's mid-3rd century and the 3rd century, early 4th century. As I said earlier,
they are all pre-Nicene. You can be in the 4th century and still be pre-Nicene.
Yeah, but then that furthermore proves the point that it wasn't an established practice in the apostolic era.
Time. Okay, we're going to switch over. That was very productive. It's going to be strict. So JP, we need you to only ask questions. And then Alex, of course, we need you to only...
Okay. There is a thing that I would say. Whenever you are doing a cross-examination, just asking questions is very important. There might be reasons why you can ask clarifying questions. Most of the time, you should be the one. He should be the one asking the question. Why write fiction books? I don't know. Said, do you have an argument or not? Oh, we're still fighting? Okay.
answer, refrain from asking questions back. It's okay, obviously, and same thing, if you have a question, Alex, where you're like, well, define that term, that's okay. And JP, I can, pause it. That way, just like we did for Alex, you don't lose any of that time to interrogate. With that, JP, the floor.
By the way, so you can have more grace because you have less capacity. You are, you have been blessed in a different way, but it doesn't mean that you have more virtues.
It's all yours.
Yeah, so Alex, would you say that God's face is hidden knowledge to us?
Yeah.
All right.
Check.
Would you say that it's necromancy if I request to know what God's face looks like?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Necromancy, as I understand it, is like trying to resurrect someone who's dead using black magic.
It's inquiring of the dead, brother, asking them. The reason that intercession, and I'm leading up to a question right now, the reason intercession of the saints.
He really went for necromancy? What? A baby on the way. Congratulations, brother. The practice of communicating with the dead, usually through summoning their spirits as apparitions or visions, not requiring hidden knowledge or foretell the future. What is he on? What is he on? What?
Is in necromancy, it's because you're not inquiring information. So do you agree that necromancy is inquiring for information?
We're just going to disagree on the definition of necromancy, so I can't answer the question because I don't agree with the premise.
Okay, so what do you believe necromancy is?
As I said, using black magic to bring people back from the dead. If you're going to talk about a seance and trying to contact the dead, that's different than necromancy.
All right.
Even when it comes to these, the purpose of it is to get hidden knowledge. Oh, it's my cat?
Moving forward, then, if you don't want to answer the question of necromancy, very, very smart of you as well.
Be
Let me ask
careful
you,
about even that commentary. I've got to try to press you to just ask questions.
Okay, no problem. How many catacombs encryptions were discovered, brother?
Encryptions? I don't know about code in the catacombs. Inscriptions, there were like tens of thousands. Not all of them were invocations of saints or asking them for things.
What percentage of them were prayers to Paul and canonized saints?
I think probably in the hundreds.
No, what percentage from 1 through 100?
I don't know what the percentage is off the top of my head. I'm not even a calculator.
Yeah, so scholars would argue and say that it's less than 1%.
Great.
Now, the question at you is, how can you establish a doctrine as pre-Nicene and apostolic for something that's less than 1%?
Because it's a collective case. It's not just inscriptions in the catacomb.
Yes, but your collective case, we have to go piece by piece because all of the pieces of information you gave, leading up to a question, James, all the pieces of information you gave were invalid and they don't prove intercession of the saints. So my question to you is this: how do you deal with the Talmud when the Talmud says that you pray to God directly and God alone?
I don't think the Talmud says that. I've talked to Orthodox Jews that have completed school, not just Ashmays. I've talked to Jacob Federecci. They all say that the Talmud teaches that you can ask the saints for things.
Okay, well, I quoted the Talmud itself word for word, and the Talmud itself says, and the Talmud itself says, and I'll read it for you. It says, if a person faces distress, let him not cry out to Michael or Gabriel, rather let him cry out directly to me and answer him immediately. And of course, we have the examples where people prayed to other things other than God and they repented. How do you deal with that?
Because the Talmud is about debates between rabbis. Not everything is set in stone. You'll have differing opinions right next to each other, literally in the Talmud.
But wouldn't you say that cuts on your side? Because then it means it wasn't an established practice that they went to the graves to pray to the saints, because that is also debated.
Well, what rabbi, what time period is the rabbi that you're quoting for your citation?
The time period, but before we go there, can you answer my question? Because you're not supposed to.
I can't, because I can ask a question if it's to clarify.
Yeah, he needs that. This is a clarification question. You can ask questions when you're clarifying on the position. It's a little bit complicated because you really do need to have that information when it comes to this. And it's fine. Okay, it's fine. This is a problem with the debate itself. The problem is that even their ideas behind them they're pretty much again. It's fine.
Clarify your question, or if it's object to your question.
Since you said that it's up for debates and things of that sort, and Rabbi Levi was talking to Rabbi Hanina, my question to you is, couldn't that standard be used against you? In the 3rd century, by the way.
I'm telling you, it could be, but first I need to know what time period the rabbi you are citing is from.
Okay, the rabbi that I'm citing from is 5th century to a 5th century compilation of a 3rd century. It's the same thing as your rabbi.
Okay, well then we have a split opinion. There's a majority and a minority opinion. I think that if you take the weight of the Talmud, you have, again, like I quoted Rabbi Gamaliel, Rabbi Kanina, and there was the third one who's slipping my mind right now.
Sufficient. Thank you. Can you tell me an apostolic father? Well, you did it to me. Can you tell me an apostolic father or anti-Nicene father that said that you can pray to saints directly?
Saint Hippolytus just does it because it's not controversial and they don't need to command it to people. Because everybody did it.
Where does he do? What is?
Which is what I was talking about. If it's already been If it's not something that's controversial and they just go ahead and do it, that would be perfectly understandable and fine. I don't see any reason to believe that it need to be in one of the councils or debated at all, because what people did anyway. John Rambo, encryptions. Encryption. I inadvertently killed the blind woman. Okay. That's a stretch. It is a stretch.
In his commentary on Daniel, when he asks the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to entreat him.
You mean in the same commentary where he was talking to Nebuchadnezzar and he was asking Nebuchadnezzar why he was wicked?
So this is the same mistake that you made when you were talking about Isaiah, talking about the devil. So again, we both agreed that pray means ask. Isaiah is not asking the devil for anything. There might be questions, but he's not like asking him for something, right? It's just like a rhetorical question, right? So it's not a prayer. And also you can distinguish in Saint Hippolytus.
Thank you. So it's not a prayer when it's convenient, but it is a prayer when you want it to be. Because if we take the full letter in its totality, the full letter in its totality is him addressing people that passed. But then when you get to the three youths, then you say that's a prayer.
Because when you get to the three youths, he says, I entreat you. He never uses prayer language like that for Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay, I want you on the record.
It's different because it is different.
I want you on the record. I want you on the record.
I mean, the whole thing's recorded.
Okay, yes, but I want you on the record with this.
Sure.
Is it okay for a saint?
Depends on the question.
Yeah, is it okay for a saint on earth to ask a saint in heaven how God's face looks like when you just said that it was hidden?
No, because the request is to God. You are requesting the people in heaven to pray for you as an intercession to God. So even if it was the case that you asked them, hey, can you show me your, can you, is it a, people that are in heaven, would you please show me the face of God? The people that were in heaven will take that and put it to God, and then God would say, no. And then he will say, that will go on and be like, no. And that will be it, right? That will be the end of it. What the fuck is he talking about?
I don't see why not. I think there's like the saints are constantly pushing the limits out of love. Is it okay for St. Paul to say that he'd rather be anathema than his kinsman to go away?
So then if you're going to say that it's okay for you to ask a saint in heaven for hidden knowledge, you just affirm necromancy.
Again, we disagree on what necromancy means.
No, but it's not that we disagree. It's the definition. The definition of necromancy is for one to ask somebody who's departed for hidden knowledge. You said God's face was hidden. Now you're saying you can push the boundaries, but you just affirm necromancy.
I mean, St. Paul says, like, literally he defines prophecy as like hidden knowledge.
No, but in the particular example,
aren't you Pentecostal? Don't you believe in hidden knowledge all the time and prophecies and telling the future?
No, but here's the deal.
Cuts both ways, JP.
No. This is the difference. The difference is that when there's prophecy, yes, prophecy is hidden knowledge that is ultimately.
That's a problem for you, isn't it?
Yes, prophecy is a hidden knowledge.
Yes, it is.
But listen to my question. Prophecy is hidden knowledge that somebody does through the power of the Holy Spirit, and it's revealed by God, or whatever the case may be. But when it comes to the hidden face of God and inquiring a saint in heaven to tell you how God...
This is a dumb dude. This dumb dude on mute.
God looks like, that is necromancy. The prophecy example doesn't work because it's not invoking any particular saint for information.
In 1 Corinthians 13, verse 2, St. Paul says, if I have the gift of prophecy and know all mysteries and all knowledge. So he defines prophecy as mystery and knowledge. And then later he says, can I finish my answer, please? No, I'm going to stand on this one because you talked over me and like you ate up a bunch of time on my stuff.
I have a question.
So now we got to hurry up. Okay. So later he says that I desire for you all to prophesy. So, I mean, that like literally is the exact opposite of what you're saying right now.
No, because when you prophesy, you're not invoking a saint in heaven. The definition of necromancy, if you look it up, is seeking information from somebody who's departed. And you just said,
I do want to be sure that you're just asking.
Is there a question on the table?
Yes, the question at the table is this. So you don't see a difference between invocation of saints and prophecy?
The point you were making was about seeking hidden knowledge, right? St. Paul is saying that he wants everybody to know all mysteries and all knowledge. There's nothing wrong with that. You can long to see the face of God.
Okay,
you're not going to.
Okay, another.
Yeah, you can long to see it. You can even long to ask for people, but the intercession is the ask to them for. it's a request for the request, and they're saying, hey, these people are way closer to God, so they're more likely to be listened. And you're still requesting to God. It's just when you're asking for the intercession of saints, is that they will try to get you pretty much closer to God.
Question, is that regarding the saints of heaven or regarding the saints on this earth?
All of them. You can long to see the face of God. Of course, you're not going to. That's fine.
Okay, but
there's nothing
do
wrong
you
with
not
that.
see a difference when longing to see the face of God and inquiring a saint to give you that hidden knowledge? Do you not see?
What's Yot is intercession of the saints. GT.
The difference?
No.
So
what is the difference? Spell it out for me, please. I want to sufficiently answer your question.
Yes, the difference is that I long to see God. I have that desire to see God. But the difference is that I'm not inquiring a saint in heaven to give me that hidden knowledge. Do you see the difference?
This whole thing is falsely premised because the saints are not dead. Necromancy is bringing back someone dead, and it's premised on black magic, which premises that they are dead.
Does Paul say they're dead?
Well, we believe in the first resurrection. So he uses dead colloquially, but we would say that they're alive.
No, he uses it as a matter of fact. So when we go, so you just, this debate's pretty much over because you affirm necromancy. Now I'm going to ask you another.
Yeah, this debate is pretty much over because you affirm the idea of the mancy of the Necrons, okay? JP and Mauler are idiots. Specifically Mauler, but I don't like JP either. Although we saw JP pretty much go away for a moment and be like, "Oh, Mauler is so mean to me."
You don't know what necromancy is.
Yes, so I'm going to ask you a question.
Also, they're not dead, JP. Jesus says this in John's gospel.
So
do you believe this? Do you believe this? That's what Jesus says.
So you don't have any apostolic.
You don't believe it?
Wait, so you don't have any apostolic fathers or ante-Nicene church
Saint
fathers?
Hippolytus, the Perpetua, Saint Perpetua, the Passion of Saint Perpetua.
What's the quote?
When he's talking about the three youths, which I showed on the screen in my opening, which everybody saw. It says, I entreat you. Entreat is a request.
Is that all you have?
You have Enoch 105, Enoch 9. You have the Passion of Saint Perpetua.
I said
these are all anti-Nicene. They're all before Nicaea, JP.
All you have quoted is a text out of context. You have not given me any.
That's an assertion. Where's the question? James, is there a question on the table?
Here's my question. Okay, here's my question. Do you have any anti-Nicene or apostolic father other than this out of context quote that you've been using?
Saint Hippolytus is not out of context. You have Saint Perpetua. You have, again, like I said, all these things in archaeology that are showing that this is...
Saint Perpetua.
What about Saint Perpetua?
He said what?
Saint Perpetua.
As a former Pentecostal, it's probably not a good idea to compare these to necromancy. When the music introduced phrases that usually produce these prophetic words or speaking in tongues is transelic. Okay. Well, wouldn't the Pentecostals, if Pentecostals are like doing crazy shit, wouldn't that include the idea that you can partake within God or something like that? Tony was right. Tony is right on a lot of things, yeah. Shit. Where is this here?
There's a lady, first of all.
Yes.
Second of all.
Yeah, she said what?
She said she had a vision that she was departed, that she entered the afterlife. You would have paid attention to my opening. You would have known this. But she went to the afterlife, and then in the afterlife, in paradise, in the vision, she was in paradise. The bishop from the material realm is praying to her. And nowhere in the text is this said, like, rebuked or said that it's bad. In fact, it's treated positively. Look it up on ChatGPT real quick. Go ahead.
No. So what I'm trying to ask you is, so
you got your slides from, too.
So wait, so you're saying that somebody was praying to Saint Perpetua?
Yes.
When she was in heaven?
In the vision, yes.
In the vision. So are you saying
that's what it says? You can read it for yourself. It's on New Advent.
So are you saying that every time you pray to a saint in heaven, you're in a state of a vision?
Perpetua is in the state of the vision, not the bishop.
Okay, but you see that there are extreme circumstances happening here. So my question at hand is going to be, again, do you have an apostolic father or anti-Nicene father that teaches it?
Also, it can't be a woman. It has to be a father.
Yes. Do you have a father or an apostolic?
So it can't be Saint Perpetua. I get it. She ruins your case. That's fine.
I would have to look at that quote. But it seems like you don't have any.
I have Saint Hippolytus of Rome. I have the Passion of Saints Perpetua and Felicity. It's one document. I have multiple liturgical documents from different areas of
fathers. Do you have fathers?
Saint Hippolytus.
That's the only person you're mentioning. You can't make a whole doctrine off of one father. Right. So again, I'll ask you.
It's not just based off of one father. It's based off of liturgics. It's based off of Saint Perpetua. It's based off of Second Temple. I'm answering it right now. Okay,
so answer my question. Can you
open up your mind for 1 minute?
Well, to be fair, JP, you made a point. So he's it wasn't a question. You made a point, and now Alex is trying to respond to that. So I do have to give you a friendly reminder to try to stick to just questions.
Okay. The only person that you're mentioning is Saint Hippolytus. I'm asking you for an additional anti-Nicene or apostolic father. You keep going to encryption. So do you have anybody else?
I'm not talking about codes. I'm not talking about any encryptions.
Okay, do you have
liturgical
any other
documents are
fathers?
not inscriptions. Liturgical
Do you have
documents
any
are how
other fathers?
Christians worship. Okay, so yes, because these were documents.
Yes, the liturgical documents is just how you do it. What a misogynist? Are you talking about me? What? Of course I am. Based.
That they used in worship in the liturgy in Egypt. All of the apostolic fathers in Egypt in the 200s would have been using those documents.
Can you quote one?
They are using these documents, dude.
Okay,
I showed you the Oxyrhynchus.
Trust me, bro. This is a lot of trust me, bro.
It's not trust me, bro. It's a liturgical document. They found it in a church,
Let's
JP.
go on the record. Let's go on the record. So far, what you've given me is Saint Hippolytus out of context and Perpetua.
Wrong.
And you have not given me any.
Wrong.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you again. Do you have any apostolic father or anti-Nicene father? Again, anybody else?
Yes. I have Saint Hippolytus.
We already went over that. Can you give me another?
All of the fathers that were worshiping in churches in Egypt.
Who the fuck is the based one?
In the 200s.
We have documentation.
Oh, this is super based. We know who is the misogynist now. Thank you very much to Navy Bree for the insanely huge, enormous $5 Canadian super chat. It says nationalism, and we're gonna be doing that in a moment.
Of them saying you can pray to saints.
Saint.
If the Church Fathers didn't specifically write about everything we do during the liturgy, they must have been against those practices. Yeah, JP, yes, I've been talking about that. Right. If it's not directly there, 2 + 2 = 5.
Athanasius, Saint Alexander of Alexandria. It's implied. Look, this is not a lot of thinking to be. They sang the song in the church. These guys went to church.
Okay, can you quote it? The quotes?
Yes. Here, give me one moment. I'll pull it up.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll give you a chance, Alex. We're running out of time here. We've got about 20 seconds left. If you want to give that quote, Alex.
Honestly, because this is not going well for JP at all.
What do you mean? It's going excellent. You only gave me 2 fathers. You gave me
Beneath your compassion we take refuge, Theotokos. Our petitions do not despise in time of trouble, but from dangers ransom us, O only blessed. This is what they were praying in the churches in Egypt in the 200s.
I want a father, a father. What? Give me a father.
Gave you.
That is a prayer. It's a prayer from the church. It's a prayer for the church goers. Whatever.
One. You didn't like it.
One, brother. This is the brother. Let me remind you.
I do. This is all right. Hold on. This is where we normally jump into queue with the
and the reason why they will be writing, especially the church fathers, they write about what is relevant at the time, which means if they were doing this and they didn't consider it to be relevant, it was just perfectly fine to do it. Yeah.
Open dialogue. So this is your chance, JP. One quick. So hold that thought, JP. We'll let you start the open dialogue with that, and that's just going to be free flowing. Although I, of course, need you guys not interrupt each other during that. If you folks are looking at the bottom right of your screen, if you are near Los Angeles,
whatever. I don't care anymore. Near Los Angeles, interested in a group debate on religion. I'm not doing that. 1, I'm not that close, and 2, I'm not doing religious debate.
I need some money.
Thanks so much for holding on, Nate, for this only huge. Thanks so much for holding on, Nate, for this only huge, enormous $15 super chat. How about a Pro Bros Records track? I'll be doing one soon. It's gonna be about. It's gonna be on a style, on a specific style. It's gonna be done soon. I'm sorry, I have other shit I've been working on, but I'll be working on that soon. Okay. Like this.
Baby, don't be absurd. Nationalism's not a bad word. Nationalism. Nationalism. Baby, don't be absurd. Nationalism's not a bad word. Nationalism. Nationalism. Well, I'm ready. Cashed in my tokens, I'm ready.
No longer broken, I'm ready. Thank God I'm found and
I'm ready.
Trapped through the ceiling,
I'm ready.
Gonna bear my soul
So when I'm ready. Go toe to toe when I'm ready. Give me the show when I'm ready.
Burn down the building.
Don't blockade it, but don't less.
I got a deep dark shadow when my fingers itch. I'm gonna save this country, gonna save these kids. I'm gonna show these
tingus.
I'm gonna
Save these from the dying
deport these Muslims and I'm coming for you. We'll scrap the whole damn thing and we'll try it again.
And this time we're not allowed in. Baby, don't be absurd. Nationalism's not a bad word. Nationalism. Nationalism.
Baby, don't be absurd. Nationalism's not a bad word.
Nationalism. Nationalism.
The Jews, the Jews,
Tengu.
the Jews,
The Jews, the Jews, it's the Jews, the Jews, the Jews, it's the Jews, the Jews, the Jews, it's the Tengus.
Gestapo leftists getting way too cozy. These media moguls getting way too nosy. All I ever heard a black man say is you owe me. If it wasn't for us, you'd be a cannibal, homie. It's time we start getting the respect we deserve. Instead of giving these people something they didn't earn. These immigrants showing out with a whole lot of nerve. If she was back home, babe, they would have beheaded her. Baby, don't be absurd. Nationalism's not a bad word. Nationalism. Nationalism. Baby, don't be absurd. Nationalism's not a bad word. Nationalism. Nationalism.
Angeles, Las Vegas, or Phoenix, anywhere in
Right. That's hard. That was hard to watch. That was hard to watch. I want every single one of the fathers, but it wasn't a controversy. That's the point. It wasn't a controversy at the time.
the Southwest.
Ooh. Mormon space wives. Oh, you guys saw this? This is so genius. This is genius amount of awesomeness.
Deep within the swampy bowels of the internet, beneath their...
And by the way, yeah, sub to Hello Listener. He's fucking awesome. Just like sub to the Crucible, because these are amazing.
facade of caring and inclusion lies the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all time, the Legion of Coom.
A meeting will come to order. The Legion of Coom is now in session. It is the purpose of the Legion to salt the earth with prostitution, degeneracy, family destruction, antinatalism, bastardization of the Bible, and other evil shit. To that end,
and other evil shit.
We we've assembled a team of the coomingest coomers the internet has ever seen. Isabella, the world's least professional confectioner, and who, when the situation calls for it, can hold her gut in for hours on end. Autocorrect, whose talent for tone policing is unmatched.
I don't like the way you said that.
Parker and Dean, sharers of the same body and mind. Tree of logic, queen of corporal punishment, she will sit on every face. Nala Ray, Kuma chameleon. She comes and goes. The raging tomato, who can and will pull a lawsuit straight out of the ground. Z, the angriest and also most f***ing repulsive woman on earth. I played this stinking city.
I've never seen this. Is that Destiny? Yes, it is Destiny.
A harp from hell! Lauren Southern, who can disappear from all public scrutiny without anyone noticing. Hillary...
It's fucking bitch. Also, it is my favorite cartoon so far. It dethroned the second one, which is Andrew like going through the apocalypse. Legion of Cool.
Crowder, who will cry on command if any man is moderately mean to her. And Naima, whatever. She's a greasy freak. And far more dastardly, deceptive, and depraved than any of you is me, Destiny, a brilliant mind utilizing the full potential of Adderall. Now, fellow degenerates, if you please.
I just remember what that's in reference of. That is in reference of the debate he had with Andrew when he spurred the fuck out. And his person starts saying, "You know what blah, blah, blah is?" Oh man, I had forgotten. That's so good.
As we all know, the Wilsons have been mucking up our perverted plans for far too long. And so for this reason, I, Destiny... yes, Coomer of all Coomers and Gooner of all Gooners have come up with a plan to...
I want to say, I want to shit talk somebody right now, and I want, but I...
Stop them.
They're just awful. Did you know Andrew's live-in slave, wife, said it was a strip?
Fuck. Fucking autocorrect.
When I was a dancer?
Well, sure, I suppose, but autocorrect, you were dancing in the nude.
It's ridiculous.
You were stripping. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it.
She called me a prostitute. That's some bullshit.
Are you not?
You can see in my videos I ain't even them guys.
Now, Tree, with respect.
No,
I have seen and enjoyed these works of videography.
Hey, don't start that bullshit, Destiny.
If you receive money to sit on someone's face...
Bitch, how about I sit on your face, little bug-eyed?
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Andrew said my cute little belly pooch hangs too far out of my shirt. That's ridiculous.
Well, let's be honest.
It hangs out just the right amount.
Okay, he calls us cowards. No, I don't want to hear from you. You two are cowards. Now listen, I have an evil plan.
And baby, look at what he said about us.
Oh, for f***'s sake.
Maybe we said about us.
Have an evil plan.
And baby, look at what he said about us.
Oh, for f***'s sake.
He claimed we were having sex, and I was using you to leverage a place in Twitch politics by having a romantic affair with you.
Oh my God, you were sleeping with me to leverage a place in Twitch politics. That's exactly what you were doing. Lauren?
That's not true, baby. I love you.
You were good, but you were...
The eyes. I love you. With the It's 10 out of 10. Every single time I see this bull, it's 10 out of 10. It's just 10 out of 10.
You were good, but you weren't that good. Good lord.
Andrew claimed I made up an entire abuse narrative to leverage my husband's fame for victim status.
You did do that.
Wish we were married to a rich man.
Me too.
No, you don't get it. He claimed you can't trust women in this space because they will take everything you say
Tomato.
and try to use it against you
Shut
if
up.
they don't get exactly what they want out of you.
Shut up! That is exactly what you did, Tomato. That is the Prima strategy guide to precisely what you did. No one here is going to deny that one, and if they do, you're all fired. Am I taking crazy pills? Tomato, you unreasonable son of a bitch!
I don't batter my boobs. It's not my fault I'm clumsy.
He's so paranoid. He claims there's a league of evil prostitutes out to get him. Isn't that insane?
He uses
Okay,
the same
so
That will be quite
Order! Order! Order!
Now isn't. Just listen.
Shut your ass up.
Hold on for just one moment. I have a plan.
That she had three baby daddies. Oh my God. She has 3 baby daddies. 3 baby
Not the baby daddies.
Yes, 3. If you don't let me speak.
daddies.
I love you.
I love you. Alright, this is the last thing I'll do. Okay. This is the last thing I'll do. First of all, I have to say to Tony, the hello listener, he's a legend. Okay. Great. He is the music of our generation. That is what he is. He's gonna be that.
YouTube thumbnails full of smut. Some things you gotta just stay away from. Scroll while they try to hit the lust. Hit the lust button, make you do something dumb.
wrong.
How are you supposed to live chaste? Advertise execs hit you every which way. Turn you to a Kuma for the stage.
Thank you.
Better you should go blind than masturbate. Let me just speak it from the top. No sugarcoat, no whitewash. You're not meant to live like a dog. Looking for a stump to hump till the epilogue. Try to keep your mind on better things. They keep fashion images that got you panting. Don't give Lucifer another inch. Reaching for the images of his recruit's print.
Cross yourself and say that he's a sprayer.
Pray the Lord gives you strength not to go there. Their spells lose effect if you don't stare. Look away and save yourself
From despair. Cross yourself and say that he's a sprayer.
Pray the Lord gives you strength not to go there. Their spells lose effect if you don't stare. Look away and save yourself from despair. The world gets uglier every day. Uninspired buildings littering the landscape. There's no beauty in the modern age. Ugly is the spirit of the age. Ugly is the way that the people behave. Ugly the philosophies they claim. Ugly are the things that they do with their pain.
Cross yourself and say that you're a sprayer.
Pray the Lord gives you strength
not to go in.
This puzzle's effective, you don't stare. Look away to save yourself
From despair, trust yourself and say the Jesus prayer.
Pray the Lord gives you strength not to go there. This puzzle's effective, you don't stare. Look away to save yourself from despair.
Whatever's going on, whenever it is wrong, whatever they're doing to you. Whatever's going on, whatever's going on. Whatever's going on, whenever it is wrong, whatever they're doing it to you. Whatever's going on, whatever's going on.
Cross yourself and say the Jesus prayer. Lord, and yourself not to fall in. Don't yourself from despair. Cross yourself and say the Jesus prayer. Not to fall in. Away to yourself from despair. We're going to original vintage. He is alive. I'm gonna go ahead and send you all there right now. Thank you all for watching. It was an incredibly fun stream. I really enjoyed it. Thank you to all the people who were here. I want to say a special mention to Mo, who was the first time he was on the channel. He supported, and he really, I enjoyed the conversation I had with him a lot. I wish we could have finished a little bit better. Be ready, because we're gonna get a debate on tomorrow. We have the debate on democracy. I'm gonna be getting the debate on the only gun makes an individual owning the gun, their family, the people they know, and their community less safe. That's gonna be a fun one. And I think kind of have an idea where it's going to go, but I believe that that's not going to be the case. So I have statistics on my side, which I believe are true when it comes to all of these. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go on and take the people who have been good friends of the channel. You know, what I'm going to send you, please go on, subscribe, say hi. God bless you. Take care. And once again, thank you all of you for watching me. Have a blessed day.